My wife is a beautiful CEO. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 751, 9th level formation. The faces of the LIU family members changed slightly. Many people showed disgust on their faces. After all, there were many young girls that they coveted, but they were turned into the same as themselves by the dry-faced monk. What a waste of talent. It seems that you still remember it clearly. Liu Shaoan smiled, with a playful look in his eyes. Seeing the playfulness on Liu Shaoan's face, everyone shuddered. Humph. A bunch of trash. Liu Shaoan changed his face as soon as he said it. He was smiling just now, and the next moment his face was full of disdain. Everyone didn't dare to talk back. Everyone knew a little about Liu Shaoan's horror. If he wanted to kill someone, almost no one would survive. Although Liu Shaoan had no cultivation, his methods would be so powerful that even those with high cultivation would feel their scalps numb. Brains kill people without a knife. Do you really think that the dry-faced monk is only in the third god realm? Liu Shaoan talked to himself, looking at everyone with more and more disdain. Shaoan, does that withered face monk have other tricks? Liu Shaoking asked subconsciously. Of course. Liu Shaoan was quite pleased with himself and said, don't forget, there is a natural formation in Changyang Mountain. Second brother, you mean that it was intentional? Liu Shaoming's eyes lit up immediately. He had also heard that the formation was not artificially arranged. Yes. Liu Shaoan nodded slightly. He continued, at the beginning, Master Withered Face Monk left a trick specifically to lure Su Chen into the trap. You only know that the natural formation is a level 5 formation. But do you really think that a level 5 formation can reach that level? Now, I'm not afraid to tell you that the formation is not a simple level 5 formation, but much higher. In fact, it has reached more than level 8. What do you think I can do to move the Withered Face Monk? If it weren't for the special formation, do you think a strong man like him would come out? Liu Shaoan had a smile on his face that showed he had a good idea. Hiss. Everyone couldn't help but gasp. More than level 8 formation? That means level 9. As the children of the Liu family, these people naturally know the formation. The higher the level of the formation, the more difficult it is to crack. The level 9 formation can almost trap the sky. Second brother, you are amazing. If there is really a level 9 formation, let alone Su Chen, even if Zhang Shai and Chief Zhuaniu and Mansion comes, he can't do anything. Second brother is wise. Liu Shaoming was the first to flatter him. He felt very happy when he thought that Su Chen was trapped and couldn't get out. Last time, in the Cheng family villa, he and his father Liu Yuanwu lost face and never had a chance to get it back. Seeing Su Chen in trouble at this time, Liu Shaoming was naturally happy. Second young master is wise. The other Liu family members naturally didn't want to miss the opportunity to flatter. One by one, they rushed to the front, fearing that they would be hated. Brother, is there any problem on your side? Liu Shaoan looked at Liu Shaoking. Whether Liu Shaoking can succeed is the most important part of the mission. Don't worry, Shaoan. Since you have a backup plan, leave the Zhou family to me. Liu Shaoking also smiled, looking very confident. As for the others, each of you has your own duties. No one is allowed to mess around in Dongzhou before I give new instructions. Liu Shaoan's eyes swept over everyone. We'll listen to your orders. Everyone obeyed the order. A few of the people here are direct disciples of the Liu family, and more are from the Liu family's collateral branches and Liu family generals. Liu Shaoan is plotting how to deal with the Zhou family. On the other side, Changyang Mountain, at the bottom of the big lake, in the water avoiding formation casually arranged by Su Chen. The three have finished communicating. Su Chen said, okay, now that we know who the opponent is, it will be easy to deal with later. Let's go out first. Don't let them wait. Zhang Taian and Qin King Mui nodded. Su Chen raised his hand and removed the water avoiding formation, and the water flow suddenly surged again. The three stood up and rushed to the surface of the lake. At this moment, buzz, it seemed that some mechanism was triggered. In an instant, Changjiang Mountain suddenly began to change. At the bottom of the lake, a huge force suddenly suppressed it. The figures of Su Chen and the other two were pressed into the water again. Uncle Master, it's not good. The formation has changed. There is a powerful force targeting us. Zhang Tian's face changed drastically. With his attainments in formation, he didn't even notice how the formation changed. He was a spiritual immortal master and was the first to notice the sudden change in the formation, and he immediately reminded Su Chen. Su Chen also noticed the huge changes in this Wuxiang Fengshan formation. Originally, the Wuxiang Fengshan formation was a level 5 formation. Su Chen had heard his grandfather introduce this formation and knew how to crack it. To be honest, it was not difficult to crack it. However, now that the formation changed, Su Chen's eyes gradually became solemn. The simple formation before became extremely complicated in the blink of an eye. This is no longer a level 5 formation. Suddenly, Su Chen's eyes widened. He was surprised to find that the difficulty of the current formation had increased by several levels. Is this level 8? No. This formation has surpassed the 8th level. Even if it has not reached the 9th level, it has reached the edge of breaking through the 9th level formation. Uncle, is this a 9th level formation? Zhang Tian exclaimed. He never thought that this formation would change so much. He never thought that he would be trapped in such a big formation when he accompanied Su Chen out this time. Is the 9th level formation difficult to break? Qin Mei asked. She was too young and had little contact with formation masters. Therefore, she had no idea what the 9th level formation meant. Captain Qin, I'll tell you this. If a 5th level formation master is a Mingjin warrior, then a 9th level formation master is a land immortal. You should understand the difference, right? Moreover, the general 5th and 6th level formations are enough to deal with the strong men in the early stage of the god realm. You can imagine the power of the 9th level formation. Zhang Tian introduced. Qin Mei couldn't help but take a breath after hearing what Zhang Tian said. Is this trip really going to be dangerous? The 4th update. Good night everyone. Sorry for the late update. Chapter 752. Contest to break the formation. Qin Mei was shocked and a little dazed. The 9th level formation had completely exceeded her imagination. At this time, Su Chen's voice sounded slowly. No, Taoist Zhang, you are wrong. This is not a 9th level formation. Su Chen said, but he was secretly relieved. Just now, he used his mental power to thoroughly investigate this formation. He found that the formation in front of him had indeed surpassed the 8th level, but had not really reached the 9th level. 8th level formation? Qin Mei was a little confused. Su Chen nodded and said, well, this is like a strong man in the innate realm, who may be able to use some method to challenge the divine realm. But his vitality level has not changed much. He is still just a more powerful vitality master. And the formation in front of him is the same. Its strength has surpassed the ordinary 8th level, but there has been no qualitative change. It is just more powerful. The gap between the 8th level formation and the 9th level formation is like a chasm, and this formation obviously has not crossed it. In order to treat Cheng Yuheng, Su Chen once took out the diagram of the 8th level formation Qiankan Fengxing formation. He was not unfamiliar with the 8th level formation, so it was not difficult for him to judge it. Hearing this, Qin Mei glanced at Su Chen and asked, the Yuanqi Grand Master who challenged the divine realm you mentioned, are you talking about yourself? Su Chen was stunned. What time is it? You are still joking with me? Su Chen was speechless. Qin Mei smiled. On the side, Zhang Tian heard this and hurried to check again. After a while, he raised his head and said excitedly, Uncle Master, your judgment is correct. It is indeed not yet level 9. Su Chen nodded. He looked at the formation again and studied it. Even if this is only an 8th level formation, it is not so easy to crack it. After all, this is different from the Qiankan Fengxing formation, and Su Chen is not familiar with the formation in front of him. Without prior contact with this formation, even a formation master will have to spend some effort. Su Chen's formation cultivation is not weak. because his grandfather taught him since he was a child. Su Chen also memorized a lot of relevant knowledge about formations. But Su Chen has never come into contact with this 8th level formation in front of him. On the side, Zhang Tai'an's situation is similar. Uncle, since this formation is not a 9th level formation, then perhaps we can try to break it. Zhang Tai'an said. Su Chen smiled and said, that's what I meant. At this point, Su Chen looked at Zhang Tai'an with a smile. Master Zhang, shall we compete? Uncle, I dare not compete with you. Zhang Tai'an smiled bitterly, although he was known as the number 1 in formation. But in his opinion, he might not be able to beat Su Chen. Because Su Chen was really amazing. Whether it was martial arts, mental strength, physical cultivation, or formation and medicine, he was a genius among geniuses. At Su Chen's age, anyone who could achieve such an achievement in any of the 3 paths could be called a genius. However, Su Chen made progress in all 3 paths, and also practiced Taoism, formation, medicine, alchemy and other skills. Even though he was personally taught by his great uncle, Zhang Tai'an still felt it was outrageous. Seeing this, Su Chen smiled and teased, Master Zhang, you are the heavenly master of Zhou Wanqiu mansion in Qianqi mountain. Don't you even have this little confidence? Since the uncle has given the order, how dare the disciple disobey? Zhang Tai'an smiled and bowed, and he couldn't help but feel a bit competitive in his heart. As the Qianqi of Zhou Wanqiu mansion in Qianqi mountain, Zhang Tai'an's inheritance is naturally not bad. He really didn't believe that he couldn't beat a young man in his early 20s. Even if this young man is a grandson of his uncle. After all, it's impossible for the uncle to compare with the heritage accumulated by the entire Zhou Wanqiu mansion of Qianqi mountain for generations, right? Speaking of which, Zhang Tai'an was a little unconvinced. Such a powerful predecessor as the uncle was unwilling to stay in Qianqi mountain. In his heart, Zhang Tai'an also wanted to fight for his Qianqi mountain. Driven by the desire to win, the 2 formation masters began to analyze the weird formation to see who could crack the formation the fastest. Su Chen has been taught by his grandfather since he was a child, and his comprehension of the formation is not low, even though he was just induced by his grandfather to memorize it by rote at the beginning. But, read a book 100 times, and its meaning will become clear. Su Chen has come into contact with countless high-level formations. Even though the formation in front of him was unfamiliar, he could still see some clues. The Qianqi position is reversed, and the Likan position is in conflict. Under the sweep of his mental power, Su Chen was analyzing the formation step by step, and secretly calculating the position of the array in his mind. On the other side, Zhang Tai'an was not vague either. An expert can tell whether it is there or not as soon as he makes a move. Zhang Tai'an took out an ancient compass, holding the compass and pacing slowly. His posture was like strolling in a garden. His method was different from Su Chen's. Su Chen was more of a calculation, and then used the data he got to calculate, and finally determined the position of the array. Zhang Tai'an, on the other hand, used the compass to locate, and after determining a position, he wrote a stroke on the palm of his hand, and continued to calculate other arrays by analogy. The 2 methods were similar, and the speed was not much different. Zhang Tai'an had a high cultivation level and stronger mental power, which was his biggest advantage now. Su Chen's mental power was slightly weaker, but he had been exposed to too many strange ideas, and his grandfather's teachings, since childhood, were not just talk. At this time, the competition between the 2 people is not so much a competition between Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an, but a competition between Su Chen's grandfather and the orthodox Taoist sect of Qianqi mountain. Why are these 2 guys like children? Qin Qingmui was a little amused when watching the 2 people compete. Qin Qingmui was very happy in her heart. Since Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an are interested in competing in the formation, it means that they are confident enough. In this way, these 2 people should have a great confidence that they can break this formation. First update. Chapter 753. It's over now. Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an were immersed in breaking the formation. Although this formation was quite strange, and it was an 8th level formation that the 2 had never seen before. But if they found the right idea, breaking the formation was just a matter of time. The 2 men became more competitive, and the atmosphere changed. The three of them did not seem to be trapped in the formation, but more like doing questions in an examination room. Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an made a move from time to time to test whether the formation they had calculated was correct. Boom. Boom. Every time the two made a move, it would cause a corresponding reaction from the formation. The counterattack of the formation often made the three people flustered. However, with the help of Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an, it was quickly resolved. Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an were also masters of formations, and they could guess some of each other's ideas based on the feedback from the formation. In their hearts, they admired each other very much, because they found that, although the other party's methods were different from their own, their ideas were similar, and the results were also similar. King Mui sighed, "You two break the formation, and I will be attacked by it." Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an smiled, and then continued to break the formation. As time went on, the two of them broke the formation more and more slowly. When Su Chen encountered difficulties in his calculations, he would simulate a mountain and use the mountain's terrain to simulate the formation. And Zhang Tai'an's compass was even more extraordinary. Not only could it determine the direction, but it could also simulate the operation of the formation. At this time, on the other side, just as Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an were competing, the meeting in Kingston Courtyard had also ended. Liu Shaoan walked out of the door and looked towards Changjiang Mountain. "Su Chen, you won't survive this time. Zhou Wanqiu is not someone you can covet." Liu Shaoan smiled. In his opinion, with the subsequent formation, Su Chen would definitely die. However, he had no idea about the true situation of Changjiang Mountain. Inside the formation, time passed quietly. Finally, a faint smile appeared on Su Chen's lips. Nothing else. At this time, Su Chen had found 80% of the formation's eyes. The remaining 20% of the array eyes can also be calculated. Almost at the same time, Zhang Tai'an also stopped. He held the compass and closed his eyes slightly. Similarly, Zhang Tai'an also found most of the array eyes. He even thought of a way to break the array. Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an looked at each other and laughed. King Mui looked at the two men, one old and one young, and felt strange. After all, the two men's eye contact was weird, no matter how you look at it. "Su Chen, Taoist Zhang, have you found a way to break the array?" King Mui asked hurriedly. Su Chen nodded. "Yes, we have found a way to break the array, but..." At this point, Su Chen closed his mouth, and a trace of depression flashed across his face. King Mui's face was happy, and he said anxiously, "But what? Found a way, then quickly break this array method." At this time, alas, Zhang Tai'an sighed, but even if all the array eyes are found, and even a way to break the array is thought of, this array is still difficult to break. King Mui was stunned. Hearing this, Su Chen immediately understood that Zhang Tai'an had the same judgment as himself. King Mui asked, "Why is it difficult to break it?" Su Chen explained, "It is not easy to set up an 8th level formation. And it is even more difficult to break the 8th level formation set up by others. Even if all the array points have been calculated, it may not be possible to break the formation." Looking at King Mui's still confused expression, Su Chen smiled. Back then at the Cheng family, in order to set up the Qiang Confengxing formation, Cheng Shai and Feng could only ask for external help to help set it up. And that time, it was just setting up the formation. Moreover, although the Qiang Confengxing formation is also an 8th level formation, it is slightly simpler than the formation in front of him. For setting up the formation, even if you don't understand it very well, as long as you follow the map and set it up in the correct direction, you can succeed. But if you want to break the formation, you need to fully understand the formation and know every joint point of the formation. Otherwise, if you make a mistake, you may be counterattacked by the formation, resulting in all your previous efforts being wasted. Zhang Tai'an looked at Zhou Wanqiu and introduced, to set up an 8th level formation, unless you are very familiar with it, you need at least 2 or 3 formation masters to work together. But if you want to break an 8th level peak formation, you also need this kind of loop. If we are outside, we can find another Cheng Shai and Feng, or even Cheng Shai and Zhen. It is not difficult for the 3 of us to break this formation together. It's a pity that we are trapped in the formation now and can't find a third person at all. Zhang Tai'an sighed slightly. 3 people. King Mui was stunned and asked, "Can I help?" You. Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an looked at each other. Then, they shook their heads together. If it is a fight, Qin Qingmu's strength is okay, but if it is to break the formation, it's not that they look down on Qin Qingmu, nor do they doubt Qin Qingmu's talent. But the formation requires enough time to comprehend and learn. Just like Su Chen, who was taught by his grandfather, since he was a child, and was exposed to the 8th level formation such as Qiang Confengxing formation at a young age. How could he have such a level of formation? As for Zhang Tai'an, it goes without saying. Being trained as the successor of the Heavenly Master since childhood, he has learned a wide range of knowledge, and the art of formation is one of them. Qin Qingmu couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. She is the captain of the Special Operations Team of the Tiger Guard of Dongzhou Province. At such a young age, she has reached the realm of God, and her talent for cultivation is naturally excellent. How could such a person not be a little arrogant? But the art of formation is almost completely unfamiliar to her. If no one leads the way, she would not be able to comprehend the art of formation at all. Su Chen, if that's the case, then we can only be trapped here to death. Qin Qingmu frowned. There was a bit of unwillingness and regret on her pretty face. Not entirely. Su Chen shook his head. If we are lucky and a master of formation also ventures in, we can leave. Su Chen, it's already this time, and you still have the mind to joke. Qin Qingmu rolled her eyes at Su Chen. Zhang Tai'an smiled bitterly. Captain Qin, what the uncle said is true. This formation can only be broken by ordinary people. Apprentices who have just started formation can't help at all. Captain Qin, you have never been exposed to formations. Even if you have a natural talent and can get started in a short time, you can't help us break this 8th level formation. This. Qin Qingmu was also dumbfounded when she heard Zhang Tai'an say this. This is really over. Second update. There will be another update later. Sorry, something delayed me. Wait a moment. Chapter 754. At this, Qin Qingmu was helpless. She knew too little about the formation. Even if Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an taught her now, it was still unknown whether she could get started in a short time. Moreover, even if she could really comprehend the basics, how could she participate in breaking the 8th level formation? Others have spent 10, 20, or 30 years to comprehend. Could it be that Qin Qingmu was so amazing? Thinking of this, Qin Qingmu could only choose to accept this result, no matter how unwilling she was in her heart. The atmosphere among the three was a little solemn. Uncle, since we can't break the formation, how about we use brute force to destroy its center of the formation? Zhang Tai'an put forward his own idea. No. Su Chen shook his head. This formation has 3 main arrays. We need to destroy the 3 main arrays at the same time in an instant to completely break the formation. If we can't destroy them at the same time, the other auxiliary arrays will replace the previous main array. In short, this formation has the ability to repair itself. As long as we can't break the formation instantly, then, no matter how many times we break the main array, it will repair itself. Zhang Tai'an sighed lightly. Alas. Thinking of me, Zhang Tai'an, who is respected by the world as the #1 in the art of formation. But I didn't expect to encounter such a terrifying formation today. I don't know what kind of power that dry-faced monk came from. Su Chen and the other two fell silent. Until now, Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an still don't know what kind of formation this is. They found the array and found a way to break the formation, but they are still powerless. This formation is so powerful that the two of them can't break it at all. Unless their formation cultivation is further improved, they can comprehend their own level 9 formation. But it is obvious that, although Su Chen has come into contact with many level 8 formations, he has not yet comprehended his own level 9 formation. And Zhang Tai'an's inheritance is against the sky, and it has not reached this step either. The level 8 formation can already seal the key of heaven and earth. And the level 9 formation has the power to destroy heaven and earth, which can be called the formation of heaven. Perhaps there are people in this world who can arrange the level 9 formation, but he should not be accepted by this world. Just like Cheng Yuheng, her talent is too against the sky, even God can't stand it, and the power of rules suppresses her, and she almost falls because of it. And if a person has a formation of heaven, he may also attract the suppression of heaven and earth. Even, there may be a natural formation that seals you in it. Any piece of heaven and earth has its own rules, and no one is allowed to surpass it, let alone go beyond its jurisdiction. Moreover, how difficult is it to have a formation of heaven? It is even 100 times more difficult than an ordinary cultivator to enter the divine realm from the innate realm. The martial arts entered the divine realm because there were countless predecessors who explored and followed the path of their predecessors, and gradually there were so many masters of the divine realm. But the formation is different. If you want to reach the heaven of the formation, you need to have enough understanding, and this kind of understanding is not allowed by this world. Even if Su Chen and the others want to achieve a breakthrough in the formation in a short time, it is unlikely. King Mui was puzzled. Su Chen, I heard that there are many formations that can be broken by force. This formation, can't it be broken? Before Su Chen could speak, Zhang Tai'an explained. Captain Qin, it is indeed very common to break a formation by force. But that situation is mostly because the formations are not of high quality. The formation in front of us is an 8th level formation. With the current situation in the cultivation world, no one has that kind of strength. Breaking a formation by force is different from breaking a formation normally. Breaking a formation by force requires the power to crush the formation, otherwise the backlash of the formation will cause the attacker to be seriously injured or even die. With the strength of the three of us, it is impossible to break the formation by force, even if we are at the peak of the divine realm. The only way we can choose is to break the formation through normal means. King Mui frowned after hearing Zhang Tai'an's explanation. She had already understood that there were 4 ways to break this 8th level formation. One is to have another formation master cooperate with Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an to break the formation without injury according to the method they found. Unfortunately, there is no such formation master in the formation. Second, Su Chen or Zhang Tai'an's formation level suddenly breaks through and reaches the level of formation. At that time, they can arrange a 9th level formation, and naturally they can easily break this 8th level formation. However, this is also impossible. Third, the 3 people exert their power beyond the divine realm, and perhaps they can directly break the formation by force. Obviously, no one can do it. Fourth, another formation master comes, and Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an break the 3 main formation eyes at the same time, and then break the formation. Obviously, this is not possible either. It seems that there are many choices, but in fact no one can do it. King Mui sighed, and was a little desperate. Is it really going to die here? Thinking of this, King Mui looked at Su Chen. She didn't expect that she would die with Su Chen. However, at this time, no, that's not right. Maybe we still have a chance. Su Chen suddenly spoke, and a glimmer of light appeared in his eyes. Just now, he had been secretly thinking about how to break the situation, and suddenly thought of a way. That's right. This formation is really strong. With his cultivation and the art of formation, it was impossible to break the formation. He could only break one main formation eye. Even with Zhang Tai'an, it was still impossible. The 2 could only break 2 main formation eyes at the same time. King Mui did not understand the art of formation, and her cultivation was only at the initial stage of the divine realm. She could not break the main formation eye by relying on her level of formation, nor could she break the formation eye by force by relying on her cultivation. However, Su Chen thought of something that might help King Mui break one main formation eye by force. In this way, the 3 of them could break 3 main formation eyes at the same time. Zhang Tai'an was shocked. Uncle Master, what is a glimmer of hope? He had racked his brains just now, but could not think of a good way. Although Su Chen was the descendant of his great uncle, Zhang Tai'an still had some doubts. Su Chen said, we will use brute force to break the main array eye. The 3 of us can each break 1 array eye. Zhang Tai'an immediately shook his head and said, Uncle Master, this is impossible. This formation is extremely powerful. Even with my cultivation, I cannot forcibly break the main array eye by force. I can only rely on my understanding of the array to cleverly break it. I believe you should also rely on your understanding of the array to break one main array eye. Captain Qin should not be able to break the remaining main array eye. He didn't explain, but the meaning is very clear. King Mui's strength is not enough. Su Chen smiled, took out something, and asked, what about adding this? Seeing what Su Chen was holding, Zhang Tai'an was stunned. The 3rd update. 3 updates today. Let's see if I can update for tomorrow. I drove 500 kilometers today. From Henan to Shandong. It was really tiring. I have to drive back tomorrow. Sorry. Good night everyone. Thank you for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 755, Transformation of the Array. Zhang Tai'an was stunned. His eyes turned to Su Chen. Su Chen, who only knew his name, was holding a formation plate in his hand. This formation plate was extremely delicate, with complex inscriptions carved on it. It exuded a strong aura in the flickering light, and it seemed that it had just been made not long ago. This formation plate was a level 5 formation plate that Cheng Zhengfeng gave to Su Chen. How is it? Seeing the surprise in Zhang Tai'an's eyes, Su Chen smiled. He continued to introduce, although this formation plate is only a level 5 formation plate, its attack power is comparable to the middle stage of the God Realm. This can be tried. Zhang Tai'an nodded hesitantly, but, uncle, according to my speculation, with the strength of this large formation, its main formation I defense is very strong. A level 5 formation plate may not be able to break it. Maybe a level 6 or above formation plate is needed. Su Chen nodded. You are right. My judgment is the same. Zhang Tai'an was stunned. If that's the case, then even if we have this array, isn't it still useless? Zhang Tai'an was a little puzzled. It doesn't matter. Su Chen smiled. This level 5 array can be improved. Then, with the improved array as a core, set up an attack array. The power may be comparable to the level 7 array. In this way, the attack power may reach the peak level of the divine realm. Hearing Su Chen's words, Zhang Tai'an was stunned. Is this possible? It's fine to improve a level 5 array, but you actually have to use the array as the core and set up an array on the array. Zhang Tai'an really wanted to ask, Uncle Master, are you going against the will of heaven? However, Su Chen didn't explain too much to Zhang Tai'an. Su Chen casually set up a waterproof array again. Although several people can use their vitality to isolate water, it's still a little uncomfortable. Su Chen sat cross-legged, holding a level 5 array. He used the medical saint's golden needle as a knife and patiently engraved some complex runes on the array. Soon, the already exquisite array suddenly became more mysterious. On the side, Zhang Tai'an and Qin Qingmei waited patiently. Qin Qingmei didn't understand these, so she could only stare and wait for the final result. She looked at Zhang Tai'an and asked uneasily, Master Zhang, is the method Su Chen said feasible? Zhang Tai'an pondered for a moment and said, it is feasible and not feasible. Qin Qingmei smiled bitterly and said, Master Zhang, don't play dumb with me at this time. Zhang Tai'an glanced in the direction of Su Chen and then explained, I said it is feasible because if the uncle can really transform and upgrade the array plate and then break the array according to his method, maybe it will really work. Then why do you say it is not feasible? Qin Qingmei asked. Zhang Tai'an sighed. This is because it is not that simple to upgrade the array plate. Generally, when cultivators make array plates, they decide from the beginning what array plates to make. From materials to array patterns, to other auxiliary materials, they are all prepared in advance. Almost no one is like my uncle, who gets a ready-made array plate and then temporarily upgrades it. This is too difficult. What's more, what my uncle wants to upgrade is a level 5 array plate. In a sense, this is no easier than forcibly upgrading an innate realm to the divine realm. Hearing this, Qin Qingmei took a breath of cold air. This is indeed too difficult. Now, she can only look at Su Chen. This guy never says anything he is not sure of. Maybe he can still do what he says this time. Qin Qingmei thought to herself. Zhang Tai'an also turned his head and looked at Su Chen with concern. As time passed, the worry in his eyes gradually faded. What was left was only incomparable shock. Is this actually feasible? Because there were already many complex runes on the level 5 array plate in Su Chen's hand. The aura of the entire array plate also became more and more fierce, and it had gradually surpassed the 5th level array plate. Zhang Tai'an was stunned. Although he had heard his master saying Zhou Wanqiu and Mansion that his uncle was a scholar. But he was his uncle after all. In Zhang Tai'an's view, no matter how great his uncle was, it was not too much. But Uncle Su Chen, after all, he was just a young man, only in his 20s. How could a young man in his 20s know so much? Not only did he practice the 3 paths of martial arts, but he was also extremely proficient in medicine and array formations. Now it seems that he even knows how to refine weapons. What a monster. Zhang Tai'an sighed secretly. How could he know that Su Chen's monster was completely polished out of suffering? When ordinary children were acting cute, Su Chen was following his grandfather to start practicing. When ordinary children were playing and fighting at school, Su Chen was reciting various classics with his grandfather. It can be said that Su Chen did not have much childhood when he was growing up. He has been an adult since he could remember. His genius was more because he paid a price that ordinary people could not imagine. Time passed quickly. Zhang Tai'an and Qin Qingmei did not dare to urge him. Suddenly, the golden needle of the medical saint in Su Chen's hand stopped abruptly. All the runes had been engraved. Zhang Tai'an hurried forward. He looked carefully at the array plate in Su Chen's hand, especially the runes that Su Chen had carved. What shocked him was that the runes added by Su Chen were actually integrated with the original array patterns of the array plate. It was as if the array plate was originally like this. Good. Exquisite. Zhang Tai'an praised it. Those special runes that increased the power of the array plate were really exquisite. He had only seen this kind of rune in some ancient books. But Zhang Tai'an had not seen many people who really understood this kind of rune. Zhang Tai'an looked at Su Chen and sighed in his heart. Master's uncle is really a scholar. He has even mastered this kind of rune and passed it on to Master's uncle. Su Chen played with the array plate and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said, now, the power of the array has been increased. Although the durability of the array will decrease due to the forced increase in the level of the array, it is enough for us to use this time. This array is originally a level 5 array, and now Su Chen has forcibly increased its power. When used, it must exceed the original material of the array, so it is normal for the durability to decrease. Uncle, how powerful is this array now? Zhang Tai'an asked nervously. First update. Chapter 756 Teaching Qin Qingmei. Zhang Tai'an was a little nervous. After all, this was related to whether the 3 of them could break out of the formation. Su Chen smiled faintly. I dare not say that it has reached the power of the 7th level formation, but the power of the 6th level formation should still be there. Master uncle is really a god. Zhang Tai'an couldn't help but think of this sentence in his mind. Captain Qin, I'm afraid I need to rely on you next. Su Chen held the formation plate and looked at Qin Qingmei with a smile. Me? Qin Qingmei pointed at herself, a little confused. She didn't understand the formation. How could she help? Su Chen nodded and said, next, I will tell you some basic knowledge of the formation. You just need to memorize it. Qin Qingmei was stunned. She didn't expect that Su Chen would really cram and teach her knowledge about the formation at this time. Qin Qingmei asked herself that her comprehension was not bad. If Su Chen helped to guide her to the entrance at ordinary times, she might be able to quickly become an entry-level formation master. But, in this situation now, Qin Qingmei couldn't help complaining in his heart. Brother, we are all trapped. When I learn the art of formation, I'm afraid the grass on our graves can be used as firewood. Zhang Tai'an was stunned. Uncle, you want? As a master of formation, and with similar inheritance, he seemed to have seen Su Chen's true thoughts. That's right. Su Chen nodded. Now, it's too late for Captain Qin to learn the art of formation. But if we just memorize it by rote, we can still give it a try. Zhang Tai'an was still a little worried. Uncle, this is too dangerous. If Captain Qin makes a mistake, we may all be backlashed by the formation. Then do you have a better way? Su Chen smiled and looked at Zhang Tai'an. Zhang Tai'an was stagnant. This is indeed a last resort. Otherwise, what else can be done? Captain Qin, next, please study hard. Whether we can escape depends on how much you can remember. Su Chen said solemnly. Okay. Seeing Su Chen's serious face, Qin Qingmei did not dare to neglect it. Now, she was under great pressure, as if everyone's life depended on her. The way of formation is different from the cultivation of martial arts, mental power and physical body. The way of formation is about enlightenment. If the enlightenment is enough, even ordinary people can use formation to change the world. Su Chen's opening remarks made Qin Mui look serious. Before, she might have sneered. Now that she has suffered from the formation, she naturally will not doubt it. The formation can really change the world. As a powerful person in the divine realm, she was trapped by the formation and had no chance of escape. If Su Chen had not rescued her, perhaps in a few decades, Qin Mui would have turned into dry bones. She is a martial god of vitality, but not a real god. Su Chen continued to explain, the key to the art of formation lies in the understanding and application of the great trend of heaven and earth. The ancients said, Qi disperses with the wind and stops with the water. The ancients gathered it, so that it would not disperse, and moved it, so that it would have a stop, so it was called Feng Shui. And the study of Feng Shui is a superficial method of borrowing the great trend of heaven and earth. And the formation is to use artificial means, to simulate the great trend of heaven and earth. First, let me introduce you to the 5 element, the 8 trigrams and yin and yang. Su Chen talked endlessly and explained. He has been learning the formation from his grandfather, since he was a child. And his grandfather was originally a very talented disciple of Zhou Wanqiu and Mansion, and even the position of Zhou Wanqiu and Mansion's heavenly master almost fell on his head. Grandpa personally reviewed the formation books of Zhou Wanqiu and Mansion for thousands of years. With his experience, explaining the formation is not boring. Even when Su Chen was young, the old man would make up a story to attract Su Chen's interest. And now, Su Chen uses similar methods to analyze Qin Mui in a simple and easy to understand way. As a result, not only did Qin Mui nod her head repeatedly, but even Zhang Tai'an, the number 1 in the art of formation, benefited a lot. After all, no matter how powerful Zhang Tai'an was, he was only a heavenly master of this generation. And Grandpa Su Chen was a ruthless man who could even give up the position of heavenly master for freedom. It can be said that Grandpa Su Chen's attainments in the art of formation have even surpassed the predecessors of Zhou Wanqiu and Mansion. Therefore, Zhang Tai'an could also benefit a lot from Su Chen's teachings. Soon, Su Chen explained the basics of the art of formation clearly. Then, he also told Qin Mui what he needed to do to break the formation this time. Su Chen looked at Qin Mui and asked, "Is there anything else you don't understand?" Su Chen, after the Li Can position changes, I use the formation plate to attack the Can position. Is there anything I should pay attention to? Qin Mui asked. Even if she is as smart as she is, it is impossible to really comprehend the formation in an instant. Captain Qin, you have to pay special attention to this place. When infusing the vitality, you can't be too hasty here. You have to be very balanced and slowly continue to inject enough vitality. Su Chen explained patiently. Also, if the Zun position changes to the Zen position. Qin Mui asked a few more questions. Su Chen answered them one by one. Although Qin Mui had many questions, Su Chen was very pleased. He already felt that Qin Mui had truly understood his ideas. In this way, he felt much more at ease. Although it was Qin Mui who needed to take action to break the formation. To put it bluntly, it was still to break the formation eye with the formation plate. However, the formation plate needed Qin Mui to control it. The 8th level formation was too powerful. Even if Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an were together, they could not completely break the formation. They could only settle for the second best and break the 3 main formation eyes. With Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an's formation cultivation and strength, it would be no problem for each of them to break 1 main formation eye. And the last main formation eye could only be given to Qin Mui. Su Chen improved the formation plate to make up for Qin Mui's insufficient attack. In addition, Su Chen temporarily taught her the formation knowledge, so Qin Mui should not have any problem breaking 1 main formation eye. If the 3 main formation eyes were broken, the formation would exist in name only. Although this strange formation can repair itself. But the 3 main points of the formation were broken, and the time to repair was enough for Su Chen and his team to walk around the formation several times. Su Chen answered Qin Mui's questions one by one. Qin Mui's face was no longer so nervous. Su Chen even took the initiative to ask questions and test Qin Mui several times. Some of Qin King Mui's shortcomings were also solved by Su Chen in time. Zhang Tai'an also expressed his opinions from time to time, making it easier for Qin King Mui to master. Speaking of which, I'm afraid there has never been such a teaching lineup since ancient times. The three people's confidence in breaking the formation is getting stronger and stronger. Second update. Chapter 757 Thunder Rolls. Although they were teaching Qin King Mui, Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an also gained a lot. Both of them learned a lot from each other's teaching Qin King Mui. By analogy, they had a deeper understanding of the Dao of formation. Needless to say, Su Chen's Dao of formation was taught by his grandfather. Apart from him, Su Chen had not communicated with other masters. And Zhang Tai'an, as the Xianqi of Zhou Wanqiu mansion in Xianqi Mountain, was also very rare to be qualified to sit and discuss Dao with him. Unconsciously, Su Chen felt that his understanding of the Dao of formation was gradually deepening. Maybe he still couldn't create an 8th level formation like his grandfather, but he was confident that he could break the ordinary 7th level formation. Even some 8th level formations that he had never seen before, he felt that he could find a way to break them with a little calculation. Of course, the 8th level formation in front of him was slightly different. Although this formation was also an 8th level formation, it was based on the natural formation, which was different from ordinary formations. Zhang Tai'an also had a smile on his face. The fire of inheritance in Zhou Wanqiu mansion in Xianqi Mountain is not extinguished. Since ancient times, there have been many geniuses in the art of formation, and many ancient books are quite obscure and difficult to understand. In the past, although he remembered those classics, there were always some places that he could not fully understand. But now, when Su Chen was explaining to Qin King Mui just now, he also took the opportunity to ask some questions. Under Su Chen's explanation, those problems that originally troubled him were no longer problems. This is also a pleasant surprise. Zhang Tai'an was quite excited. If he was not still trapped in the formation, he really wanted to discuss the formation with Su Chen. At this time, Su Chen, Taoist Zhang, I'm ready. Qin King Mui finally said this with confidence. The teaching time of the three people finally ended successfully. Zhang Tai'an, who was obsessed with the art of formation, was a little reluctant. And the look he gave Qin King Mui was also brilliant, and he even had a heart of love for talent. Qin King Mui is indeed a genius. Not only is she practicing martial arts quickly, but her comprehension in the art of formation is also first class. Zhang Tai'an sighed in his heart. If such a genius can be accepted as a disciple, Xianqi Mountain will have an excellent seedling. Unfortunately, Captain Qin is a member of the Tiger Guards of Dongzhou province, and Zhang Tai'an secretly glanced at Su Chen. Looking at the relationship between his uncle and Captain Qin, the two might go a step further. Zhang Tai'an could only suppress the impulse to persuade Qin King Mui to go to Zhou Wanqiu mansion with him. After all, it would be bad if the seniority was messed up at that time. Congratulations, Captain Qin, you can become a master. Su Chen smiled and stood up. Even with his eyes, he couldn't help but admire Qin King Mui a little more. Su Chen, Qin King Mui didn't know what to say. Although the two were not master and disciple in name, they were master and disciple in reality. The inheritance of the formation is not something that can be taught casually. Captain Qin, we have to make decisions in a hurry. Su Chen smiled indifferently. Just don't easily pass on what Taoist Zhang and I taught you today. I don't care, but Taoist Zhang is from Zhou Wanqiu mansion after all. Yes. Qin King Mui nodded heavily. She didn't say much, but her eyes were very firm. The favor of teaching the formation is no less than Su Chen curing her injuries. Let's not talk nonsense. Let's start breaking the formation. Su Chen smiled and said. The next second, the formation plate appeared in his hand again. Following the calculated formation center, Su Chen walked straight over, and Qin King Mui and Zhang Tai'an followed closely. The three of them soon reached the first formation center. I'm going to set up the formation. After saying that, Su Chen started to work. Su Chen set up the formation, flowing like clouds and water. Not to mention Qin King Mui, a novice in the formation, even a master level existence like Zhang Tai'an couldn't help but look at it with divine light. Half a cup of tea passed. Su Chen built a small formation with a modified level 5 array disk as the core. Even without the input of vital energy, it can still unleash the power of the level 6 array. Su Chen said, I will notify you to start later. You just need to input vital energy to this position and attack the target. Be sure to pay attention to the changes in the formation. If there is something wrong, respond according to the knowledge of the formation I just taught you. Qin King Mui nodded. After explaining to Qin King Mui, Su Chen and Zhang Taiyan each found a main array eye. The three of them concentrated their minds and held their breath, standing in front of the three main array eyes. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. They had to defeat the three array eyes at the same time to break the formation. Break the formation. Su Chen and Zhang Taiyan looked at each other and shouted at the same time. Then, the two of them attacked instantly. Qin King Mui did not hesitate at all and immediately input vital energy into the formation arranged by Su Chen with the array disc. In an instant, the terrifying momentum in the level 8 formation shook. The attacks of the three people hit the main array eye fiercely. Rumble. The 8th level formation reacted instantly, and the terrifying energy rolled wildly and rushed towards the center of the main formation. Don't hold back. Break the formation with all your strength. Su Chen shouted. Suddenly, Qin King Mui and Zhang Taiyan burst out with all their strength. Snap, snap, snap. 3 crisp sounds, almost bursting out at the same time. Boom. The terrifying power immediately spread everywhere. Su Chen, Zhang Taiyan and Qin King Mui were immediately shocked and retreated again and again. The formation is broken. Qin King Mui's face showed a look of surprise, and Su Chen and Zhang Taiyan also breathed a sigh of relief. However, at the moment the formation was broken, the terrifying power shook all around. Outside the formation, Changyang Mountain. Above Changyang Mountain, the sky suddenly darkened. The wind and clouds surged, and the sky changed. Boom, snap. The huge thunder struck down with a bang, as if endless terror had descended. The breaking of the formation by Su Chen and the other two was like a signal. The sky and earth changed color, and thunder and lightning rolled down. If Su Chen saw this scene, he would definitely understand one thing. That is, the Wuxiang ceiling heaven array was also broken. Before, the natural formation that enveloped the outside of Changyang Mountain was the Wuxiang ceiling heaven array that concealed the secrets of heaven. Now that Su Chen and the other two have broken the formation, the Wuxiang ceiling heaven array will naturally not be intact. The Wuxiang ceiling heaven array originally isolates the key. After the formation is broken, the key will naturally leak out, and the rules of heaven and earth can discover the things that were originally hidden here. Perhaps, the secret of Changyang Mountain will soon be solved. The third update. The update ends tonight. Good night everyone. I drove 5 hours from Shandong to Henan today. It's almost 12 o'clock now, and I've only done 3 chapters. I'm so tired. It's a little late. Please forgive me. I drove more than 1,000 kilometers in 2 days. Chapter 758. Everyone reunited. Humans are the spirits of all things. For human geniuses like Cheng Yuheng, the rules of heaven and earth will bring down the rules of injury. But if it is an alien, it will be more direct. The rules of heaven and earth will bring down thunder, and even make these aliens disappear into ashes. According to legend, the transformation of the demon race is to break through the shackles of life. If the heaven and earth do not allow it, thunder punishment will be brought down. And what is hidden under the Wuxiang Fengshan formation of Changyang Mountain? Since ancient times, no one knows. And today, here once again, an unpredictable strange change has occurred. What does this change mean? No one knows. No one will consider it. After all, the current situation of Changyang Mountain is not known to many people in the outside world. Even Liu Shaoan and others who designed this conspiracy did not know. At this time, in the formation, Su Chen and the other two looked overjoyed. As the main formation eye was broken, a huge force collapsed and spread out in all directions. The feeling of suppression suddenly dissipated, and a feeling of seeing the blue sky after the clouds and mist were cleared came naturally. Su Chen and the other two were all strong in cultivation, especially Su Chen and Zhang Taiyan, both of whom were masters of mental power, and they soon noticed this change. Although Qin King Mui was only a martial arts master, her perception was not bad. The formation was broken. We succeeded. The three of them said in unison, and the joy of escaping from the dead appeared in their eyes. Even if they were calm before, it was because they were trapped and forced to be calm. Even if Su Chen and others calculated well, they were not sure that they could break the formation. After all, the level of this formation reached the peak of level 8. Even in the entire dragon country, there are only a handful of people who are qualified to break this formation. What's more, it takes 3 people who are qualified to break the formation to work together. However, now Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an, plus a newbie, have actually broken such a formation. How can people not be overjoyed? Let's go, Su Chen said lightly. Then, the 3 of them burst out with vitality, rushed up directly, and left the bottom of the lake. Before the 3 of them reached the lake, a figure appeared in front of them. It was Jinghua who first discovered King Mei. When Jinghua saw Su Chen and the other 2, he swam over at full speed, his face full of joy. Su Chen casually set up a water-avoiding formation to lead Jinghua over. Captain Qin, Advisor Su, Senior Zhang, you finally came out. Seeing the 3 figures, Jinghua's face was full of excitement. He first looked at the water-avoiding formation set up by Su Chen in shock, and then asked, Mr. Su, what happened to you? Before, you and Taoist Zhang were too fast. Before I could catch up with you, you disappeared. When I was almost at the bottom of the lake, a terrifying power fluctuation suddenly broke out, and I was directly washed out of the lake by the water. Later, the lake was directly sealed by a powerful force, and we couldn't get down. After waiting for 3 days, a sudden change occurred, and the power collapsed. I hurried down to find you, as soon as possible. Jinghua was a little excited, and told the whole process again. Su Chen immediately understood that Jinghua was too slow. When he reached the bottom of the lake, he and Zhang Tai'an had just broken the mysterious stone door, and triggered the 8th level formation. After that, the 8th level formation blocked Jinghua and others from entering the bottom of the lake. I didn't expect that 3 days had passed. It took us so long to break this formation. Su Chen sighed. Zhang Tai'an smiled and said, Uncle Master, the time we took is already amazing. It took us a lot of time to find the eye of the formation and explain the formation to Captain Qin. After all, this is an 8th level formation. It's amazing that we can break it in 3 days. King Mei also sighed. I'm grateful to God for being able to escape. As she spoke, King Mei looked at Su Chen. Su Chen, this time, I owe you another life. Su Chen touched his nose and smiled. Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's go out first. Everyone nodded. Then, they rushed out of the lake together. The 4 people went ashore. Su Chen's vitality circulated, steaming off the moisture on his clothes. Then, his face changed slightly, and he looked up at the sky. At this moment, the sky was overcast and thunder was rolling. Boom. Zhang Tai'an and King Mei also saw that something was wrong and looked up. Jinghua smiled and said, I don't know what happened to the sky. It has been fine for the past 3 days. As a result, just when the big lake moved, the formation outside seemed to be broken. Suddenly, it started to be cloudy and thundering. It was quite scary. Su Chen and Zhang Tai'an looked at each other, and both of them had some guesses. The formation that blocked Changyang Mountain was the Wuxiang Fengshan Formation. Speaking of it, although the Wuxiang Fengshan Formation is a natural formation, the level of this formation is not strong. Otherwise, Su Chen and his team would not have easily stepped into it before. As Su Chen and the other 2 broke through the 8th level formation, the terrifying power dissipated, and the Wuxiang Fengshan Formation, which was only level 5, was torn apart directly. The aura originally hidden here naturally spread. It seems that the change in the weather should be related to the Wuxiang Fengshan Formation. Zhang Tai'an's eyes showed some deep thoughts. Su Chen nodded. At this time, Jinghua did not notice the expressions of the 2 of them. He shouted excitedly, brothers, come quickly. Mr. Su and Taoist Zhang have rescued Captain Qin. Suddenly, a group of tiger catching guards gathered from all around. There were also people who emerged from the lake and then swam quickly to the shore. These people followed Jinghua into the lake to look for people after the formation of the big lake was broken. Everyone gathered around. After the reunion after the disaster, they all showed joy on their faces. Su Chen looked around and asked in confusion, where are Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken? Hearing this, Jinghua's face changed slightly. First update. Chapter 759 Mysterious Whiteness. The people who were surrounding him were all members of the Tiger Guards. There was no sign of Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken. This made Su Chen a little confused. The change in Jinghua's expression made Su Chen feel a little uneasy. Although Su Chen was usually a little impatient with Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken, the two shameless disciples, he never wanted to see them get into trouble. What happened to them? Su Chen asked hurriedly. Jinghua hesitated, and then stammered. Old Bian and old Lu fainted. Su Chen was startled and asked, why did they faint? Jinghua smiled bitterly and explained, they were hungry. Su Chen was stunned. He really didn't expect this answer. Zhang Taiyan and Qin King Mui were also dumbfounded after hearing this answer. Jinghua explained, Mr. Su, you have been here at Changyang Mountain for 3 days. Old Bian and old Lu are not warriors, and they are old. They can't stand not eating for a few days. Old Bian was so hungry that he fainted, although old Lu could still hold on. He was so hungry that he asked me to help knock him out, saying that fainting would make him feel better. Old Lu also said that if old Bian was about to wake up, we should wake him up first and don't let him see him faint. Su Chen was very upset. These two old disciples were really embarrassing him, especially Lu Daoken, who didn't forget to argue with Bian Sanson at this time. However, Su Chen felt a little guilty after thinking about it. The two old men were not warriors, and they came here with him and became so hungry. Su Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. On the side, the other members of the Tiger Guards also tried to hold back their laughter. Okay, take me to see them, Su Chen said to Jinghua. Then, Jinghua took Su Chen and others to a boulder. Sure enough, Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken were leaning against the boulder, unconscious. Both of them looked a little pale and their breath was relatively weak. Su Chen took out the golden needle of the medical saint and treated them. Although it can't be eaten as a meal, it can also allow the two to temporarily restore some energy. Soon, Lu Daoken and Bian Sanson woke up. Lu Daoken was younger and woke up faster. However, before he woke up completely, he turned his head to look at Bian Sanson. When Lu Daoken saw Bian Sanson slowly open his eyes, he immediately pretended to be awake. Old Bian, you actually fainted from hunger. It's really funny. You are so weak. How can you have the nerve to call yourself a senior brother every day? Lu Daoken said smugly. However, Bian Sanson didn't pay any attention to him at all, because he had already seen Su Chen and others. Bian Sanson stared at Su Chen closely and said with surprise, Master, you are out. I thought you were in trouble. Bian Sanson was excited. At this time, Lu Daoken came back to his senses. He turned around and saw Su Chen and others staring at him. He immediately understood that what he had just done must have been seen by everyone. Even though Lu Daoken was thick-skinned, his old face blushed. Master, you are out of trouble. You don't know, I'm always worried about you, Lu Daoken said hurriedly. As he spoke, he struggled to get up and ran over Su Chen. Looking at this posture, it seemed that he wanted to give Su Chen a loving hug. On the side, Bian Sanson was not to be outdone. He also got up and rushed towards Su Chen. Stop. Su Chen stretched out his hand and said unhappily, Master. Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken said in unison, looking at Su Chen with grievance. Okay, I'm fine. You guys should be quiet. I'll take you down the mountain in a while and let you eat something. One fainted from hunger, and the other was so hungry that he asked someone to help him faint. You are really good. Su Chen looked helpless. Bian Sanson's old face blushed. However, he then looked at Lu Daoken fiercely. Good fellow. So you are also very hungry, and you are pretending to be fine. How shameless. Lu Daoken quickly counterattacked. Then I didn't faint directly from hunger. Shame on me. The two old men quarreled again. Everyone laughed in their hearts. Seeing that the two old men were fine, Qin King Mui finally had time to communicate with the Qin Huari. Brothers, are you alright? Qin King Mui's cold eyes swept over everyone. Although some people were seriously injured, the number of people was not reduced after all, and Qin King Mui couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. After all, this operation was led by Qin King Mui. If she hadn't believed Chen Zifeng and brought everyone here, these brothers would probably not be injured and trapped. Thinking of this, Qin King Mui felt guilty. However, fortunately, Su Chen brought Bian Sanson and Lu Daoken here, so that these brothers did not have to worry about their lives. I, King Mui, on behalf of the Brothers of the Tiger Guard, would like to thank Su Chen, Taoist Zhang and the 2 divine doctors. King Mui finished speaking and bowed to Su Chen and the other 4. Jinghe and other members of the Tiger Guard also bowed to express their gratitude. Zhang Tian, Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan were very polite. Su Chen also waved his hand and said with a smile, Captain Qin, brothers, you don't have to thank me. After all, I'm also the consultant of the Tiger Guard of Dongzhou province. Besides, you were also calculated by Chen Zifeng because of me. Just don't blame me, brothers. A member of the Tiger Guard smiled and said, even if it wasn't for Consultant Su, we wouldn't be able to pee in the same pot with Chen Zifeng. How could we blame you? Another Tiger Guard said, that's right. If it weren't for Consultant Su, we would probably be trapped here to death. Consultant Su is a savior. People spoke one after another. No one resented Su Chen because of this matter, but was full of gratitude and respect for Su Chen. Birds of a feather flock together. The people around King Mui were all reasonable. Everyone was in a happy mood. At this moment, suddenly, bang, there was a sudden explosion on the lake not far away. Everyone was startled and turned their heads. Then, they were surprised to find that a strange white light suddenly appeared from the lake. The next second, it rushed towards everyone at high speed. This white light was as fast as lightning. Even Su Chen's mental power could not capture the specific meaning of the white light. Be careful. Second update. Chapter 760. Yang Shen possessed the body. Be careful. The Tiger Guards were panicked. The white light was just a little delayed and then quickly rushed towards Su Chen. Su Chen, be careful. King Mui subconsciously made a move to stop the white light. However, although she was a powerful person in the God realm, her movements could not catch up with the white light. Before she could move in place, the white light flashed directly in front of her eyes. Uncle Master. A compass appeared in Zhang Tian's hand, trying to block the white light for Su Chen. As a result, the white light flashed as soon as his compass attack was launched. Zhang Tian's attack did not touch the white light at all. In an instant, everyone's eyes were full of horror. This white light was so terrifying that even the powerful people in the God realm could not stop it. What kind of terrifying existence is this? Before everyone could figure it out, they saw that the white light had already rushed straight to Su Chen. Su Chen's undefeated golden body started instantly, and the terrifying vitality also formed lines of defense. However, the white light directly passed through his key defense, rushed directly into Su Chen's Niwen palace between his eyebrows, and headed straight for his sea of consciousness. In an instant, Su Chen stood there in a daze, as if he was possessed by a demon. Su Chen. Master. Uncle Master. Advisor Su. Different names, but equally concerned. Everyone looked at Su Chen with a worried look on their faces. No one expected such a sudden change. What exactly was that white light, and why did it go straight to Su Chen? Everyone was full of questions. And at this moment, Su Chen's mind was shocked. Because the white light had directly invaded his sea of consciousness. Or thought directly appeared in Su Chen's mind. Possession. This white light is the Yang Shen of a cultivator. He rushed into my sea of consciousness to seize my body. Su Chen's heart trembled. At this moment, he remembered the secret his grandfather had told him. After a warrior reaches the Xianshan realm, there are generally 3 ways to cultivate. One is ki, the second is mental power, and the third is physical strength. If a warrior's vitality reaches the divine realm, and the vitality is connected to the gods, he can be called a martial spirit god. If the soul and spirit power reach the divine realm, then he can be called a spiritual power immortal master. If he breaks the divine realm with his physical body, and cultivates a golden body Ahad realm physical body, he can be called a martial arts heavenly realm. Relatively speaking, martial gods and heavenly realm masters are stronger than spiritual power immortal masters in terms of defense. But when it comes to the ability to survive, whether it is a martial spirit god or a martial arts heavenly level body refiner, they are not as good as spiritual power immortal masters. If the physical bodies of the martial spirit god and martial arts heavenly are destroyed, they will have no chance to survive, and their souls will be annihilated. But spiritual power immortal masters are different. If they can escape the yin god or yang god, they can borrow a corpse to revive and have a second chance to survive. It is commonly known as seizing the body. However, in general, seizing the body rarely borrows a real corpse to revive the soul. After all, in most cases, the corpse is not energetic enough, which is extremely costly to the immortal master. In most cases, seizing the body will select a living target and then directly annihilate the original consciousness of this person. Generally speaking, yin god and yang god prefer to possess a body of a strong person with cultivation, because this way, you can save time for recultivation. If this strong person's realm is slightly lower than yours, and his cultivation path is similar to yours, it will be even better. This mysterious white mist is a yang god. Before, it should have been hidden in the big formation. Just now the big formation was broken, and it rushed out of the lake to find someone to possess. The hesitation just now was to choose the right object. And I'm the body he chose. Su Chen has made an accurate judgment in his heart. Among the people present, no matter from which aspect, Su Chen is the most suitable one to possess the body. Qin Qingmu's cultivation is not low. She is already a strong person in the realm of God, but she is only a Yuan Qi martial god, and she only cultivates Yuan Qi. As for Zhang Taian, in fact, he is stronger than Su Chen in all aspects. But it is precisely because he is too strong that the white mist does not seem to be sure of winning, so he dare not provoke it at all. Of course, there is another reason. That is, Zhang Taian is older, and his potential can no longer match that of Su Chen, a demon who defies the heavens. One is an old man who is more difficult to possess and has little potential. The other is a young man with unlimited potential. What choice to make, naturally, is already needless to say. From any angle, it is more suitable to possess Su Chen than to possess Zhang Taian. In an instant, Su Chen had figured everything out. He sneered in his heart. This bastard Yang Shen thinks I'm easy to bully, right? No matter where you come from, I will let you know that you have chosen the most strong path. That's right. On the surface, Su Chen is indeed not very good, but his methods are no less than Zhang Taian's. What he lacks is only the realm. Welcome to my territory. The third update is here. Please forgive me. Time is urgent, so I will get the 3 updates together first. Good night, everyone. Chapter 761 Playing Bumper Cars. In the Sea of Consciousness, Su Chen's Yang Shen condensed into a villain and looked coldly at the white light emerging in the Sea of Consciousness. In this white light, there is an old man with white beard and white hair. He has a bit of immortal style. However, Su Chen did not have any good face for him. Who are you? How dare you? How dare you try to forcibly seize the body of a cultivator? Su Chen's Yang Shen floated in the void of the Sea of Consciousness and scolded coldly. Are you Yang Shen? Are you a yin and yang practitioner? Seeing Su Chen's Yang Shen appear, the old man who turned into Bai Guang secretly thought it was bad luck. His figure flashed, and he subconsciously wanted to leave. Before, he thought that Su Chen was only in the realm of physical body in the realm of Yuan Qi's Ianshan, with weak mental power, and was an extremely strong physical body. But unexpectedly, Su Chen's mental power has entered the yin and yang period, and the Yang Shen has condensed into a solid shape. If it was the previous him, he might not have taken Su Chen's Yang Shen seriously at all. But now, he has been suppressed for many years, and his spirit has been wiped out into a Yang Shen. Facing Su Chen's Yang Shen, there is no guarantee of victory. After all these years of hard work, he finally escaped from the suppression. If something goes wrong at this critical moment, it will be more trouble than gain. Seeing that the old man was about to turn around and escape from the Sea of Consciousness, Su Chen directly closed the Sea of Consciousness, and the Yang Shen flashed to stop him. Since you are here, don't rush to leave. The old man's face suddenly became cold. Boy, don't force me. The syllables he made were extremely strange, but Su Chen could understand them through his mental power. I force you? Su Chen's mouth curled up slightly and said, just now, it seemed that you came uninvited. Now, how can you say that I'm forcing you? You. The old man transformed by the white light was speechless. He knew that Su Chen was not easy to mess with and wanted to change his target to seize the body. But now, Su Chen not only did not let him leave, but also trapped the Sea of Consciousness to prevent him from escaping. In this way, the old man was helpless. If Su Chen did not let him leave, it would be hard to say what the final result would be. Perhaps, he could successfully seize Su Chen's body. But it is also possible that he will fail to seize the body and be swallowed by Su Chen. Seizing the body is inherently risky. Otherwise, it would not be a taboo in the world of cultivation. As a result, many powerful beings, even if they have the ability, dare not try it at all. First, the act of seizing the body is inherently against the harmony of heaven. If it is exposed, it will definitely be a dead end. Second, seizing the body is against heaven and has many restrictions. Even if it succeeds, there will be problems with the fusion with the new body, and the future cultivation achievements will basically not be too far away. Third, seizing the body also has risks. If the target of seizing the body is too strong, not only will it fail to seize the body, but it may be swallowed up. Because of this, not many people will choose to seize the body unless it is absolutely necessary. Now, the old man Beimang is facing this situation. Su Chen's strength is beyond his imagination. At such a young age, his Yang Shen is not much weaker than he is now, which greatly reduces his success rate. After all, this is Su Chen's sea of consciousness. As Su Chen said, this is his territory. It's okay to succeed in seizing the body, but if it fails, the old man can't imagine it. Now, he only has Yang Shen left. If even Yang Shen is swallowed by someone, then he will never have a chance to turn over and disappear between heaven and earth. The old man looked like he had thought a lot, and his expression changed repeatedly. Tell me, what is your origin, and what does the formation have to do with you? Su Chen put on an attitude of waiting to watch the show, and smiled coldly. He has already noticed that this old man Yang Shen has the aura of an 8th level formation. It is very likely that the 8th level formation is not aimed at himself, but at this person. Even the monument seems to be the same. This old man must have a big secret. Boy, there are some things you don't know, otherwise. The old man snorted coldly. Choosing Su Chen was indeed his mistake. However, this does not mean that he will surrender easily. Really? Su Chen smiled slightly and said, what I'm least afraid of is threats. You only have Yang Shen left now, and I'm also Yang Shen. How about we play bumper cars? The corner of the old man's mouth twitched. What the hell is playing bumper cars? The old man complained in his heart. Arsehole. You are in your own sea of consciousness world, with geographical advantages. I'm a rootless duckweed. If I confront you head on, isn't that courting death? Besides, even if your Yang god is shattered, you still have your Yin god. If I shatter, I will be completely finished. Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. What? If you don't dare, then I will do it. If you don't make it clear about you and this formation today, don't even think about leaving alive. As he spoke, Su Chen was about to pounce on the old man. I'll tell you, I'll tell you. Seeing this, the old man's face turned green and red, and he quickly admitted his weakness. When you are under the eaves, you have to bow your head. He was in trouble. Su Chen waited leisurely. He was indeed curious about the origin of this old man. Was the change in Changyang Mountain related to him? Why did this old man end up in such a situation? The old man looked at Su Chen deeply inside. He slowly said, my friend, in fact, I'm a spiritual master. It was only because I was defeated by my opponent during the revenge that my physical body was destroyed by the enemy, leaving only this yang spirit still lingering. Even and try to survive. I really had no other choice, so I had evil thoughts. Su Chen listened calmly, but he was thinking secretly in his heart. Suddenly, Su Chen asked, you are not from this world, right? The old man was stunned, with a look of shock on his face. First update. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 760 To the Old Man's Origin. Hearing Su Chen's words, the old man was stunned. He looked at Su Chen with a shocked face. Seeing this, Su Chen immediately understood that he had guessed right. He said calmly, long ago, Changyang Mountain had been normal, but then it suddenly changed. Moreover, Changjiang Mountain actually gave birth to a natural formation like the Wuxiang Fengshan formation, which must be hiding some information. Just now, I broke that monument and then triggered the 8th level formation. After I broke the 8th level formation, the Wanxiang Fengshan formation was also broken, and the hidden aura in it was exposed, which led to the change of the sky in Changjiang Mountain. Tell me, is this thunder aimed at you, or at that monument? Su Chen's tone was calm, but the old man was horrified when he heard it. This young man is really a monster. He actually guessed his origins, based on 2 formations and the abnormality of Changjiang Mountain. His expression kept changing, and finally he sighed and said, "You're right. I'm not from here, I'm from the glass world." Su Chen was shocked. His guess turned out to be true. Glass world? It seems that this should be a higher world. At least, it should be more advanced than the current Earth. In fact, Su Chen knew very little about other worlds. He just heard his grandfather mention that there are other worlds before. Su Chen thought that it was a joke from his grandfather. But later, his grandfather told some stories about other worlds, which made Su Chen believe that it was true. But where those worlds are, and how to get there, he still has no idea. Even the names of those higher worlds, Su Chen has never heard of them. He once speculated that the Cave Heaven and Blessed Land in Taoist classics are higher worlds. But now, after hearing the glass world, Su Chen suddenly realized that the Cave Heaven and Blessed Land might not be the higher world he imagined. Continue. Su Chen looked at the old man calmly, but the hasty voice revealed that he was not calm at the moment. Su Chen was too eager for the unknown world. There was no way. This was not because Su Chen liked novelty and adventure. Rather, it was because of Su Chen's curiosity about his grandfather. Many of the stories the old man had told him puzzled him. Su Chen grew up with his grandfather, but the old man seemed to become more and more mysterious in his heart. A long time ago, Su Chen only knew that his grandfather was a good old Chinese doctor. He had good medical skills and was regarded as a miracle doctor by the villagers in the mountains. Later, as Su Chen grew up, he gradually realized that his grandfather was not that simple. Grandpa had a strong cultivation base and was proficient in all arts, but he lived in a remote corner. Until he met Zhang Tian, Su Chen's doubts became more and more. Grandpa's identity turned out to be the great uncle of Zhou Wanqiu and mansion in Qianqi Mountain. According to Zhang Tian, Grandpa was at least over 100 years old. Also, since he was raised by his grandfather, where were his parents? Why didn't they come to find him? Although Su Chen knew more and more about his grandfather, he found that his grandfather was becoming more and more mysterious, like a bottomless black hole. Fortunately, that was his grandfather. Otherwise, Su Chen would feel terrified. I don't know, have you ever heard of the Kuruo Peak? The old man spoke again. There seemed to be some tentativeness in his voice. You don't need to know, just keep talking. Su Chen did not comment. There was no change in the expression on the face of the Yangshan villain. To be honest, Su Chen did not know what the Kuruo Peak was, let alone the Liuli realm. However, he could not act like he knew nothing. An old antique like the Yangshan old man, who knows how many years he has lived. Any change in expression could be used as a breakthrough by him. The Yangshan old man had to continue. Kuruo Peak has a secret technique, half withered and half flourishing. If you practice this secret technique, even mortals can go against the will of heaven and break through to the realm of God. Su Chen's Yangshan villain nodded slightly. In his mind, the withered monk mentioned by King Mui could not help but emerge. It is said that the guy is a cultivator of the 3 aspects of physical body, mental power and vitality, and even cultivates the art of formation. It turns out that guy is also from Liuli realm, from Kuren Peak. No wonder he is so powerful. The old man Yangshan has been secretly watching the changes in Su Chen's expression. Sure enough, this guy knows Kuren Peak. Seeing Su Chen's thinking, the old man Yangshan was shocked. Before, he did not lie, but outsiders did not know whether you can distinguish the truth from the false. You still need to rely on your own ability to figure it out. He is indeed from Liuli realm, and the Kuren Peak he said does exist. But people who are not from Liuli realm naturally cannot know the situation of Kuren Peak. And looking at Su Chen's expression at this moment, he must know Kuren Peak, or at least he has seen people from Kuren Peak. This young man seems to be very familiar with Liuli realm. The old man Yangshan made up his mind on his own, but he deceived himself and saved Su Chen a lot of trouble. Su Chen did not know that the old man Yangshan was making up his mind on his own. Now he can only listen to what the old man Yangshan said first, and then judge the truth by himself. If it was still in the outside world, with a physical body, Su Chen believed that few people could endure the interrogation that magnified the pain 100 times. But this was his own spiritual sea of consciousness. He could not use drugs or acupuncture to force a confession, nor could he use talismans to interrogate the old man about the truth of his words. Although Su Chen took the initiative, but when encountering such an old monster, it was inevitable that he would be deceived. The old man of Yangshan continued, "My junior sister was captured by Kurang Peak, so I went to Kurang Peak to ask for her. But I didn't expect that the old ancestor Kurang suddenly appeared, and I was caught off guard, and my physical body was completely destroyed." Oh. Su Chen raised his eyebrows slightly. A trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. This old man must have been very good in the past. After all, his Yangshan was condensed to the extreme. The other party's broken Yangshan was even stronger than Su Chen's current heyday. If his physical body existed, his realm would decline, and perhaps 10 of himself might not be able to defeat the other party. This is not Su Chen's self-deprecation. It was because this old man came from Liuli realm, where the cultivation environment and resources were much better than on Earth. But such a strong man went to Kuro Peak to ask for someone, but ended up with his body destroyed, and his Yangshan with it. It was a bit tragic. As the old man spoke, Su Chen listened, and the two sides seemed to have entered a harmonious state. However, the old man's eyes were darting around. Obviously, he did not seem to give up the hope of taking over the body. Second update. Chapter 763. 3-element return to 1. The old man Yangshan introduced the situation of Liuli realm, while his eyes were rolling around. The reason why he said so much to Su Chen was to give in, but also to deliberately paralyze Su Chen. Finally, the old man Yangshan couldn't bear it anymore. The more Su Chen knew, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. He couldn't wait until Su Chen knew everything before taking action. The old man Yangshan deliberately mentioned a secret of Liuli realm, causing Su Chen's mind to lose. The opportunity has come. The old man was secretly happy and suddenly attacked Su Chen's Yangshan. However, Su Chen's Yangshan villain chuckled. Haha, just in time. The moment the old man's Yangshan attacked, Su Chen's Yangshan suddenly changed dramatically. In an instant, Su Chen's Yangshan shone brightly, and the next second it condensed into the shape of mountain. It was Yaodao Mountain. Before in Yichen, Su Chen's Yangshan turned into Yaodao Mountain, and even shocked the attacking Yangshan to death. At this moment, in his sea of consciousness, Yangshan also has such ability, and is more powerful than Yangshan. In the sea of consciousness, yin and yang complement each other, and the shadow of a mountain seems to be real. In an instant, the huge mountain peaks pressed down towards the attacking old man of Yangshan. Bang! The old man of Yangshan was directly pressed at the bottom of the mountain, and was almost crushed into powder. Boom. A roar sounded. The old man's Yangshan was completely suppressed. Countless Yangshan powers instantly overflowed from the old man's Yangshan, and floated in Su Chen's sea of consciousness. Dao, spare my life. The old man of Yangshan panicked. He had never thought that there would be such a terrifying person in the world. Not only could he suppress his Yangshan, but he could even deprive him of his Yangshan power. This is obviously a world lower than Liuli realm. Otherwise, the rules of heaven and earth would not target that monument. But why would such a low-level cultivation world have a pervert like Su Chen? The key is that he happened to meet him. The old man of Yangshan wailed in his heart. Then, he begged for mercy again and again. Beg for mercy? Too late. Su Chen's tone was full of coldness. The moment the old man Yangshan made his move, he had already had the intention to kill him. Such a powerful old monster is just a hidden danger. If you can get information out of him, it's a profit. If you can't get any useful information, it's safer to kill him. Su Chen was about to take action. The old man Yangshan was almost scared to death. Dao, spare my life. I have another secret. In exchange for your true spirit, I voluntarily dedicate all my Yangshan power to help you take Yangshan one step further. In this way, I only have my true spirit left, and I won't pose a threat to you." The old man's voice was hurried, begging for mercy again and again. It seemed that he was afraid that, if he was a step late, he would be completely crushed by Su Chen. Oh. Su Chen paused slightly. He was somewhat interested in the old man Yang Shen's proposal. After all, he knew very little about Liuli realm. And this old man was obviously extraordinary. Even though this guy is not very honest and his words are hard to tell whether they are true or false, he is knowledgeable and may be useful in the future. Moreover, if a Yang god without a physical body loses the power of the Yang god, it will not pose much threat to Su Chen. Thinking of this, Su Chen said calmly, "Speak." The old man hurriedly said, "I have a way to help you return the 3 element to 1 and enter the return to 1 realm." Really? Su Chen's tone was calm. However, he immediately understood that this should be the next realm after the god realm. Return to 1 realm. It doesn't sound very impressive, but it is this name that makes Su Chen's heart throb. After practicing to this point, he has basically entered the god realm. What exactly is the next realm? Su Chen is curious. Now, the old man has given the answer. The return to 1 realm. The 3 element return to 1. Obviously, it is the integration of yuan qi, physical body and mental power. In fact, Su Chen did not know that there is another way to say the return to 1 realm, that is, the 3 flowers realm. This is what the Taoists call the 3 flowers gathering at the top of the head. Su Chen said coldly, "Are you telling the truth?" Yang Shen said repeatedly, "Dao, look at me, I'm like this, do you still dare to lie? As long as your vitality and mental strength enter the realm of God, I will have a way." Su Chen said softly, "But I can't rest easy if I keep you." The old man Yang Shen trembled. He felt that a pair of eyes kept sweeping over him. He suddenly became more flustered and immediately said, "Little friend, don't be impulsive. I just wanted to take over your body, and I didn't want to completely annihilate you. I just wanted to take the initiative. Besides, I'm from the Liuli realm, and know a lot of Liuli realm secrets. It will be of great help to your cultivation and improvement. In addition, if you go to the Liuli realm in the future, I can also lead the way for you, so as not to be a headless fly. Dao, spare my life. I swear, I will never have any bad intentions towards you again." The old man Yang Shen begged for mercy again and again. Su Chen pondered for a moment and chuckled. "Okay. Since you are still honest, I will spare you for now. However, I will not be polite with your Yang Shen power. As it should be, as it should be." The old man's Yang Shen nodded frantically, like a chicken pecking at rice. Now, his Yang Shen was suppressed, and only his head could move. Su Chen said coldly, "First, you peel off the Yang Shen power by yourself. As for the future, it depends on your performance. I guess you already know my methods. I advise you to think twice, and don't make mistakes." The old man didn't dare to say more. "Disperse," he shouted in a low voice. Swish, swish, swish. Suddenly, bursts of white mist overflowed from the old man with Yang Shen. This is his Yang Shen power. The old man's Yang Shen power poured out. In an instant, the Yang Shen power in a Su Chen sea of consciousness was enough to rival the Yin Shen. Su Chen was immediately delighted. This is a great tonic. His Yang Shen can finally go one step further. The 3rd update is here. Good night, everyone. I've been working on the plot lately, so I'm a little slow and a little late. I should be able to update the 4th update tomorrow, and I'll try to update it earlier. Thank you for your support. Thank you, everyone, and good night. Chapter 764 Crazy Promotion. Looking at the Yang God power that filled the sea of consciousness, Su Chen was overjoyed. Yin God, come out. His mind moved, and the Yin God instantly left his body, and the Yang God continued to stay in the sea of consciousness. Suck! Su Chen shouted. In an instant, the Yaodao mountain transformed by the Yang God began to devour the Yang God power crazily. This old man with the Yang God is a master of the Liuli realm, and he was far beyond the realm of God before. Although his spirit was suppressed for many years and fell into a lower realm, only the Yang God power remained. But even so, his remaining Yang God power is much stronger than Su Chen's. Soon, as the old man's Yang God power gushed out, the Yang God power in a Su Chen sea of consciousness became more and more. and as he absorbed and refined it crazily, Su Chen's Yang God became more and more condensed. Su Chen's Yang God can achieve the current achievement mainly relying on a few Yang Yuan Dan. Especially the fine Yang Yuan Dan given by the Cheng family. The effect is particularly powerful, helping his Yang God to completely take shape. Although it has not yet condensed to perfection, it is enough. Now, he has obtained a large amount of Yang God power from this mysterious old man. In this way, Yang God is completely perfect, and it seems to be just around the corner. This is also a pleasant surprise. Su Chen was secretly happy. When Yang God is completely perfect, it can achieve yin-yang balance with Yin God. When Yin and Yang are united, my combat power can be improved again. After that, I will choose to retreat. Yin God and Yang God will be united, and I will be officially transformed into Yin-Yang Spirit God, and become a spiritual immortal master. Thinking of this, Su Chen was excited. The spiritual power that was thought to be the most difficult to break through would actually break through the divine realm before the vitality. Moreover, it was the most difficult Yin God and Yang God who practiced together. This made Su Chen both surprised and surprised. Su Chen never dared to neglect cultivation. Even though he knew that he could also become a spiritual immortal master by practicing Yin God alone, he still did not choose to do so. The more difficult the path you choose, the higher the achievement in the future. This is what his grandfather has always told Su Chen, and he has always kept it in mind. Now, it is finally the harvest season. If he could unite his yin and yang spirits and then break through to the spiritual master, he could easily crush the strong men of the same level. Su Chen's ambition has always been great. In the Xianshan realm, he could defeat the gods against all odds. If he reaches the divine realm, he just wants to be stronger. Otherwise, he won't break through. If he breaks through, Su Chen hopes that he can be promoted to the divine realm in the most perfect manner. Su Chen's Yang spirit frantically absorbed the power of the Yang spirit in the sea of consciousness of the Niwen Palace and improved rapidly. At the same time, Su Chen's Yin spirit escaped. After all, there was too much Yang spirit power in the sea of consciousness, and it was not Su Chen's own Yang spirit power. Under the conflict between Yin and Yang, it would be bad for the Yin spirit to stay in it. Zhang Tai'an is a spiritual power master with extremely strong spiritual power. Naturally, he discovered Su Chen's Yin spirit at the first time. He was immediately concerned and sent a message to Su Chen's Yin spirit. Uncle Master, are you okay? What on earth was that white light? How did your Yin spirit leave your body? Is there some powerful being trying to deal with you? Do you need my help? Zhang Tai'an looked nervous. I'm fine. Su Chen's Yin spirit smiled. He explained that white light is a broken Yang spirit, a strong man from Liuli realm. Before, he should have been suppressed by the formation in the monument, but we broke the formation and let him out. He wanted to attack me, but now he has been suppressed by me. Su Chen looked casual. However, what? A strong man from Liuli realm? Zhang Tai'an almost jumped up when he heard the 3 words Liuli realm. Su Chen's Yin spirit nodded. Yes, that man was originally a spiritual power immortal master from Liuli realm. But that guy was unlucky and happened to meet me. Now, I'm borrowing the power of his Yang spirit to condense my own Yang spirit. Hearing this, Zhang Tai'an opened his mouth wide and was speechless. Even though he was the Xianqi of Zhou Wanqiu and mansion in Xianqi mountain, he couldn't imagine this situation. That was a strong man in the Liuli realm. If it was someone else, they might not know how terrifying the Liuli realm was. But Zhang Tai'an had read many classics in Zhou Wanqiu and mansion, and had seen some introductions to the Liuli realm in ancient books. That place can be called a holy place for cultivation, with strong people like clouds. In today's Lango, in ordinary cities, the strong people in the Xianshan realm can be called invincible. Even in some big cities, the Yuanqi Grand Master is the top combat force of the major families. And the strong people in the God realm, in a province, there are only a few people. But the Liuli realm is different. According to the introduction in ancient books, the Liuli realm is known as the quiet Liuli realm. The cultivation environment is excellent. Even for ordinary people, it is not too difficult to reach the realm of Yuanqi Grandmaster. It is almost certain for a seedling with a little talent to enter the God realm. In such a world, where martial arts are prosperous, Zhang Tai'an can't imagine how powerful the means of the strong people in that world are. Even if the opponent was only a half-crippled Yang Shen, Su Chen should not be able to match him. After all, Su Chen has not even broken through to the spiritual master. Zhang Tai'an gave Su Chen a thumbs up and said, "Uncle, you are indeed worthy of being my uncle, and you have inherited the evil talent of my great uncle. In the Xianshan realm, you can suppress such a strong man." Su Chen smiled and said, "It was just a coincidence." In fact, Su Chen was also quite surprised. The Yaodao mountain transformed by his Yang Shen seemed to have an excessively good effect. The old Yang Shen man was suppressed without much resistance. At this time, Qin Qingmui was originally a strong man in the god realm, and her mental strength was not weak. She felt Su Chen's Yin Shen, and saw Zhang Tai'an's abnormality, so she asked. Zhang Tai'an explained, and Qin Qingmui was immediately shocked. Zhang Tai'an used a little trick to let Qin Qingmui connect to Su Chen's Yin Shen. Qin Qingmui was very surprised and asked some questions one by one. Su Chen answered them one by one. At this time, Zhang Tai'an suddenly asked, "By the way, Uncle Master, since that person is from the pure and quiet Liuli realm, has he ever said what the next realm after the divine realm is?" "Reunification realm." Su Chen slowly uttered 3 words. Hearing these 3 words, Zhang Tai'an and Qin Qingmui's faces looked a little ugly. First update. Chapter 765. Powerful enemy attacks. Return to one realm. Hearing this name, with the wisdom of Zhang Tai'an and Qin Qingmui, they can naturally guess the origin of this realm. The return of 3 element to 1 is the true meaning of the return to one realm. The faces of the two changed several times. Zhang Tai'an is not bad. He is a spiritual power immortal master, and he is also a physical heavenly realm strongman. As long as the vitality breaks through to the divine realm, he will have the opportunity to reach the return to one realm. But Qin Qingmui is a little far away. In the same divine realm, she only has the vitality to reach the divine realm. Although Qin Qingmui is a genius at her age, becoming a martial god of vitality is already a genius. But her mental power and physical cultivation are still far behind. Although it is difficult to break through the physical body, if you find the right practice, and then have natural materials and treasures, spend some time and energy, and endure hardships to temper the physical body, there will always be some opportunities to break through. But mental power cultivation requires extremely high talent. Moreover, a large amount of innate yin and innate yang are required to condense the yin god and yang god. More importantly, the difficulty of transforming the spirit god is not low. Qin Qingmui sighed slightly in her heart. Su Chen smiled and advised, "Don't worry too much. There is always a way out. I believe that not everyone in Liuli realm will take the path of the 3 yuans returning to 1. If you want to improve, there may be other ways." Hearing this, the two nodded. It is indeed the case. They are already in the god realm. For ordinary people, they have come a long way. What's more, knowing too much now is of no benefit. In the path of cultivation, you still have to take one step at a time and break through slowly. The boat will straighten itself when it reaches the bridgehead. There is always a chance to find a breakthrough opportunity. Thinking of this, the two of them couldn't help but put down their burdens. Seeing that the two had adjusted their mentality, Su Chen said, "Okay, wait a moment. It will take me some time to break through." The two were speechless again. Su Chen's breakthrough was too easy. Others' breakthroughs are like constipation. You are so good. Breaking through is as easy as breathing. It has only been a short time since this physical body broke through to the heavenly man realm. Is it going to break through to the spiritual immortal master now? Zhang Tai'an's mentality was better. After all, Su Chen was the grandson of his great grandmaster, so his talent could not be that bad. But Qin Qingmui was a little dissatisfied. Before, she was also a prodigy envied by everyone. At the age of 30, she had cultivated to the divine realm. For ordinary practitioners, it was already a dream achievement. But now, in front of Su Chen, Qin Qingmui felt that her talent seemed to be a little bit inferior. People will die if they compare themselves to others, and goods will be thrown away if they are compared to goods. With such a terrifying talent, I don't know where his limit is. Qin Qingmui sighed in her heart. Su Chen didn't know what the two were thinking, and his mind was once again focused on the little Yangshan. That's right. Since absorbing a large amount of Yangshan power, Su Chen's Yangshan has once again turned into a little man. No other reason. At this time, the old Yangshen was no longer a concern. His Yangshen was already weaker than Su Chen's Yangshen. Moreover, the Yangshen of the two was still growing and declining. Su Chen's Yangshen slowly moved towards perfection. The Yangshen of the old man was further shrinking until only the true spirit remained. Just when Su Chen broke the formation and caused the change in Changyang Mountain, in Dongzhou province, a figure suddenly appeared in a remote courtyard. Look carefully. This person is short and half of his face is festering. If someone sees this person on the night road, they will definitely be scared to death. This person is the dry-faced monk. No one thought that this terrifying three-god realm existence did not leave, but stayed in Dongzhou province. At this time, the dry-faced monk's face was as gloomy as water. His eyes were fixed on the direction of Changyang Mountain, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Who is this bastard? How dare you ruin my good thing? As a three-god realm powerhouse whose vitality, mental power and physical body are all in the god realm, the dry-faced monk is extremely powerful. Moreover, he is also proficient in formations. Even those top powerhouses in Shangjing may not be able to get much benefit from him. But now, someone actually broke his formation and ruined his good deeds. Suddenly, a terrifying murderous intent emerged on the ugly old face of the withered monk. Damn it. He was furious, and his figure flashed and disappeared in the courtyard. And his destination was the ever-changing Changyang Mountain. Everything in Changyang Mountain, but he spent a lot of effort. But now, kinks in courtyard. Liu Shaoyan's face also changed drastically. As the man behind the scenes, he naturally left spies in Changyang Mountain. Now, Changyang Mountain has such a change. Why? Liu Shaoyan frowned. He has been to Changyang Mountain in person. And the withered monk also said that almost no one in the entire Dragon Country martial arts world can break that formation. According to the withered monk, that formation is impossible to break, and Changyang Mountain will not change at all. Now, in less than a few days, he is slapped in the face. Could it be that someone is so rebellious that he broke the formation of Changyang Mountain? Su Chen, who was in Changyang Mountain, was completely unaware of the reaction of the outside world. He was even more unaware that the changes here had attracted the attention of the enemy again. Even more, some enemies came to kill again. For Su Chen now, other things didn't matter. The most important thing was to quickly absorb the power of the Yang God and achieve the perfection of the Yang God. By then, the Yin God and the Yang God would also be perfect, and the Yin and Yang would be directly united to transform into the spirit of the God realm. With the improvement of strength, big problems will become small problems, and small problems will become no problems. All troubles are not troubles in the face of sufficient firepower. As time goes by, Su Chen's Yang God becomes more and more condensed. The Yang God villain is actually slowly turning into a jade doll. Second update. Chapter 766. With a grinding wheel. Su Chen didn't care about the changes in his Yang Shen's appearance. What he cared about was the improvement of his Yang Shen's quality. At this moment, Su Chen felt that his Yang Shen was extremely powerful. If, before, his Yang Shen's power was a broad lake, now, it is undoubtedly a vast ocean. That vast power made even Su Chen himself secretly smack his lips. You know, the Yang Shen power that Su Chen absorbed came from the Yang Shen old man in Liuli realm. How strong would this person be when he was at his peak? Su Chen didn't know the answer, and he had no interest in knowing it. Anyway, now the other party can only fulfill himself. There is no concept of time in the sea of consciousness. When Su Chen devoured the Yang Shen power of the old Yang Shen, he felt that his Yang Shen had transformed. At this moment, Su Chen felt refreshed. If he met a strong man in the middle stage of the God realm again, he would be more confident. Yang Shen is different from Yin Shen. The magical use of Yang Shen is more powerful than Yin Shen. Yin Shen can kill enemies thousands of miles away, and Yang Shen has the same effect. The power of Yin God will be enhanced at night, and it will be much weaker during the day. However, Yang God has no such limitation at all. Moreover, the other magical uses of Yang God are also unmatched by Yin God. For example, the recovery speed and the release of various spells. If Yin and Yang can be combined and transformed into Spirit God, Su Chen can step into the realm of true spiritual immortal master and achieve a divine realm again. Now, Su Chen's yin god and yang god are already perfect. As long as yin and yang are combined, it is not difficult to transform into spirit god. Why not just do it here in one go and transform spirit god into the spiritual realm? Su Chen made up his mind and was about to take the next step. At this moment, a figure as fast as lightning rushed over. Bold thief, dare to touch my things? A roar resounded throughout Chang'an Mountain. Who? Jinghui exclaimed. The others turned their heads and looked at him. Qin Mui frowned, and Su Chen also stopped practicing and opened his eyes. The man who came was short and stout, with half of his face festering, wearing a robe and a fierce look on his face. Withered-faced monk. Qin Mui couldn't help but exclaimed, her eyes full of solemnity. Who is it? Who touched my things? The withered-faced monk swept the crowd with a cold look, full of murderous intent. Is it you? The withered-faced monk looked fierce and pointed his finger at Zhang Tian, the oldest. In his opinion, only Zhang Tian had the strongest fluctuation of aura. The things he had planned for a long time must have been taken away by this person. Are you the withered-faced monk? Su Chen's eyes were cold, and he spoke indifferently. There was a trace of murderous intent in his eyes. The withered-faced monk looked at Su Chen coldly, with a look of disdain on his face. Little brat, you have nothing to do here. Adults are talking. Children, don't interrupt. Su Chen was silent. The others present were also speechless. Don't interrupt, children. Hand over the things. I can even leave you a whole body. The withered-faced monk looked at Zhang Tian with a ferocious face. Zhang Tian was confused. What? I didn't take anything. However, although Zhang Tian thought so in his heart, he did not show weakness. Because he knew that this withered-faced monk was one of the main culprits who harmed Qin Mui, and was also Su Chen's enemy. Since he was an enemy, there was nothing to explain. If you have the ability, then come and get it yourself. Zhang Tian snorted coldly, showing an extremely strong performance. Speaking of which, Zhang Tian was also very curious about the withered-faced monk. How terrifying is a 3-god realm strongman? Zhang Tian himself is in the double god realm. Seeing a 3-god realm strongman at this moment, he will naturally be happy to see the prey. The withered-faced monk's face sank, and murderous intent burst out in his heart. Well, you are looking for death. As soon as the voice fell, he raised his hand and punched Zhang Tian. The withered-faced monk's punch was extraordinary, full of strength, vitality, and spiritual power. The punch of the 3-god realm strongman has no shortcomings. The terrifying pressure aged wildly, and the brothers of the tiger gods present were instantly pressed to the ground. Withered and prosperous millstone. The withered-faced monk has also condensed his fist. His fist is extremely terrifying. The spiritual power, vitality, and physical strength are combined into one, and it instantly turns into a huge withered and prosperous millstone. One side is black and the other side is white, as if it can erase everything. Zhang Tian looked solemn. Even though the fist has not yet come to him, he already has a sense of terror, as if he was thrown into the stone mill hell, as if he would be ground into pieces at any time. Seeing the withered-faced monk's terrifying fist, Su Chen subconsciously helped. However, the next moment, Su Chen heard Zhang Tian sending him a spiritual voice. Uncle, don't do it first. Let me try. What means does this 3-god realm strongman have? Zhang Tian advised. Su Chen nodded slightly, retreated to the side, and was ready to fight at any time. As long as Zhang Tian is in danger, he can help him at the first time. Seeing that Su Chen did not make a move, Qin Mui also stopped thinking about helping. She also received Zhang Tian's mental transmission. Although Zhang Tian wanted to test the skills of the dry-faced monk, he did not dare to slack off in the face of this terrifying punch. Xian Shi 5 fights fist. Zhang Tian shouted softly. A punch was thrown. Suddenly, the dragon and the tiger met, with endless power. Zhang Tian's punch, except for the terrifying fist intent, did not seem to cause much movement, and even the dust on the ground did not move. However, those who really understand this punch don't think so. Boom. The grinding wheel fist intent of the dry-faced monk and the dragon and tiger fist intent of Zhang Tian collided violently. The third update. There is another update later. 4 updates today. Chapter 767. Do you want to save him? Creak. A piercing sound came The terrifying black and white millstone seemed to be able to erase everything. However, Zhang Tian's Shi fist, which was a combination of dragon and tiger, was different. The endless dragon and tiger intentions were not affected at all. Bang! With a loud bang, the two retreated. Under the violent collision, the two sides actually fought evenly. Shi Dao, the eyes of the dry-faced monk condensed. If it was an ordinary strongman, he would naturally not take it seriously, but Shi Dao, even if the dry-faced monk had a mysterious origin, he still dared not underestimate it. You know, even in the Liuli realm, Shi Dao is a very powerful sect. But this bastard touched his things. No matter what force he is from, he must die. With this thought, a cold light flashed in the eyes of the dry-faced monk, and his murderous intent did not diminish. Exit. With a low shout, the dry-faced monk's spirit left his body. He is a spirit transformed from a yin spirit, and the whole spirit is filled with a gloomy breath. Knife out. Then, he condensed a big knife with the power of his spirit. The big knife was extremely sharp, as if it could split the world. After taking a look at it, he felt a pain in his body. Cut. The withered monk shouted. The terrifying big knife immediately chopped towards Zhang Tian's forehead, as if to cut off his soul first. Retreat. Zhang Tian shouted softly. Then, his spirit also left his body. In the hands of Zhang Tian's spirit, a whisk appeared. Zhang Tian's spirit picked up the whisk and swung it at the withered monk's spirit knife. Bang! Suddenly, the big knife in the hands of the withered monk's spirit was like meeting a nemesis and was hit hard by the whisk. Zhang Tian did not stop and swung it at the withered monk's spirit again. Swish. Ah! With a scream, the withered monk's spirit was directly beaten back to the sea of consciousness. This is the whisk of the heavenly master. How could it be in your hands? The withered face monk was shocked. He looked at Zhang Tian with a more solemn look. Haha. Zhang Tian smiled lightly. He said lightly, I'm blessed by my ancestors. I wonder if you have anything to say. The withered face monk was furious. This is impossible. The whisk of the heavenly master is a treasure of Xiandao mountain. How could it be in your hands? The withered face monk wanted to speak, but Su Chen interrupted him directly. Master Zhang, there is no need to talk nonsense with him. Take him down first. Seeing that Zhang Tian had the upper hand, Su Chen couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Uncle Master, watch out. Zhang Tian smiled. After the previous 2 rounds of fighting, he was less afraid of the withered face monk. Although the 3 gods are strong, they are not particularly outrageous. Zhang Tian is originally a strong man in the double gods, with extraordinary strength, and naturally has his own pride. In addition, as the heavenly master of Zhou Wanqiu Mansion, he has many means. Dao, take it. Zhang Tian shouted, and then attacked again. However, although Zhang Tian was above board, not everyone was like him. For example, this dry-faced monk. After a few moves, he failed to take advantage of Zhang Tian, and the dry-faced monk was anxious and hateful. At this time, he naturally would not talk about morality. Facing Zhang Tian's attack, the dry-faced monk pretended to punch to resist. However, his other hand suddenly threw out a handful of fine needles that were neither gold nor wood. This wave of fine needles was fast and urgent, and was not affected by the vitality wave at all. Not good. Zhang Tian's heart sank. He didn't expect that this dry-faced monk was so insidious. At this time, Zhang Tian wanted to dodge, but it was too late. And his Shi whisk was not a real object, so he could only use his spirit to control the Shi whisk and throw it over. Unfortunately, Zhang Tian was a step slower after all. Although most of the fine needles were thrown away by the whisk. But in the end, 3 fine needles attacked him, and he couldn't dodge at all. These needles were so fast that they seemed to be able to penetrate space. Not to mention Zhang Tian. Even Su Chen didn't react and had no time to rescue Zhang Tian. Jade bone golden body. Zhang Tian reacted very quickly. In an instant, a faint golden light appeared on Zhang Tian's body. His physical strength in the heavenly man realm also burst out. The strong man who has reached the heavenly man realm through physical training naturally has a strong body. At this time, Zhang Tian can only rely on his strong body to resist the last 3 needles. Puff, puff, puff. 3 fine needles shot past. The Robon Zhang Tai'an's body did not play any blocking role at all and was penetrated in the blink of an eye. Next, Zhang Tai'an's body, which was like gold, stone and jade, only blocked for a moment. The next second, 3 fine needles were directly inserted into Zhang Tai'an's body. Ah! Zhang Tai'an cried out in pain. In an instant, he felt a sense of powerlessness. These 3 fine needles that were neither gold nor wood were not ordinary hidden weapons, but had terrifying effects. Ox nose, how does my withered and flourishing needle taste? The withered face monk had a grim smile on his face. He knew that Zhang Tai'an was the most powerful person here. In the eyes of the withered face monk, other people were even more vulnerable. If they could take down Zhang Tai'an, they would have already won. Master Zhang, don't move. A golden light flashed under Su Chen's feet, and he appeared beside Zhang Tai'an like teleportation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The medical saint's golden needles fell quickly like drizzle. Seal the sky and demand the earth. Su Chen shouted softly. 108 medical saints' golden needles fell accurately. These golden needles actually formed a formation to completely seal the worsening of Zhang Tai'an's injuries. You want to save him? The withered face monk had a grim smile on his face and stared at Su Chen coldly. The 4th update is here. The update is over. Good night everyone. Finally the 4th update. It's a little early. I know it's still too late. I'll see if I can do it earlier tomorrow. Thank you for your support. Good night. Chapter 768. Battle with the Monk. The withered monk stared at Su Chen coldly. He didn't take Su Chen's rescue action seriously at all. Boy, this old guy was hit by my withered and flourishing needle, and you still want to save him? It's just wishful thinking. The withered monk sneered. The withered and flourishing needle. It's not an ordinary thing, but a sinister magic weapon. Although it is not as good as Zhang Tai'an's Shi and Chi whisk, it is already quite powerful. Really? Facing the ridicule of the withered monk, Su Chen smiled calmly. This withered and flourishing needle is indeed very difficult to deal with. But this does not mean that Su Chen has no way out. Now the conditions are not enough. He can only seal Zhang Tai'an's injuries first, and then go back to treat him. As soon as the voice fell, Su Chen made a lightning move and tapped on the medical saint's golden needles continuously. But an invisible energy ripple spread on the 108 golden needles and enveloped Zhang Tai'an's body. The withered monk's eyes condensed. He actually felt that he had lost contact with the withered needle. Boy, is that you? The withered face monk looked at Su Chen with a bit of disbelief in his eyes. This young earth warrior actually has such a method, which is really amazing. Even in the glass realm, there are not many such people. The withered face monk's face hung a trace of murderous intent. The pain in Zhang Tai'an's body gradually subsided. He looked at Su Chen gratefully and said, Uncle Master, thanks to you. Su Chen smiled and nodded. He whispered, you're welcome. Master Zhang, go and rest first. Let me meet this withered face monk. Zhang Tai'an did not force himself. His eyes were solemn, and he reminded him, Uncle Master, you have to be careful. This little dwarf is very strong. Okay. Su Chen nodded slightly. He had seen the strength of this withered face monk, and it was indeed not an easy person to deal with. Hearing this, the withered face monk sneered coldly. Little brat, you want to fight with me? Are you going to make me laugh to death? Su Chen chuckled. Naturally, he would not be angered by the dry-faced monk's words, but became more cautious. Seeing Su Chen so calm, the dry-faced monk's face became a little more serious. He thought that Su Chen would be furious because of his youth. Now it seems that, although this kid is young, he is quite calm and may not be easy to deal with. Boy, take my punch first. The dry-faced monk stepped on his feet and attacked. He raised his hand and punched, and the violent fist burst out again. It was the mysterious fist method that turned into a millstone before. Divine Wolf Fist. Su Chen made a full strength attack. Facing a 3-god realm strongman, he dared not despise him at all. Moreover, this 3-god realm strongman in front of him was quite insidious and shameless, and he might suffer if he was not careful. Zhang Tai'an, a dignified double god realm strongman, was calculated because he was not careful. As the divine wolf fist blasted out, Su Chen's vitality, mental power and physical strength instantly merged. With one punch, a mountain phantom appeared. Suddenly, the huge mountain shadow, like a mountain pressing down on the half-black and half-white millstone, pressed down fiercely. The shadow of the curing millstone, in front of the huge shadow of Yaodao Mountain, was like a lone boat in the sea, with a precarious posture. Humph, do you really think that my curing millstone is just a flower stand? The withered face monk snorted coldly. His move is the unique skill of curing peak, which is absolutely unmatched by ordinary people. It's okay for the Xian Qidao newbie. After all, he has the inheritance of Xian Qidao, so it's reasonable for him to resist his curing millstone. But you, a young boy, why? The withered face monk had a bit of disdain on his face. He was confident that no one, except Zhang Tai'an, could break his curing millstone. Boom. The shadow of Yaodao Mountain collided with the curing millstone. The curing millstone rotated black and white, trying to wipe out Yaodao Mountain. Creak. The harsh sound rang in the ears of Su Chen and the withered face monk. The withered monk smiled coldly, expecting to see a scene of a mountain collapsing. However, the next second, boom. The withered millstone was knocked away fiercely. How is it possible? The withered monk stared and exclaimed. The withered millstone can wipe out everything. Even in the Liuli realm, this move makes ordinary gods terrified. But now, his withered millstone was blocked twice in succession. Could it be that the martial arts world of the Dragon Kingdom can really produce a dragon in shallow water? Little brat, you really have some tricks. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant in front of me. The withered monk's face was gloomy. Then, he snorted coldly, come out. Immediately, the spirit that had just been beaten back by Zhang Tai'an with the heavenly master's whisk, left his body again. The withered monk's spirit god Villain condensed a long sword again. And Su Chen was equally unyielding. Come out. The next second, Su Chen's yin god and yang god left his body at the same time. Although Su Chen's yin god and yang god have not yet merged, their power is also not small. You dare to be arrogant before you become a spiritual god. Die. The dry-faced monk shouted angrily, and then the spiritual god raised his knife, flashing a dazzling blade light. The sharp breath seemed to cut through the space. Su Chen did not dare to neglect it. He shouted, concentrate. Suddenly, the yin god and the yang god blended with each other and turned into two yin and yang fish. The next second, the two yin and yang fish spun rapidly, and there was a faint posture of turning into a Teikai diagram. Use softness to overcome hardness, and use 4 ounces to move 1,000 pounds. Su Chen shouted in his heart. The rotating yin and yang fish quickly circled around the spiritual sword light of the dry-faced monk. If it was just a competition of mental power, Su Chen was indeed slightly inferior to the dry-faced monk. After all, the dry-faced monk had already transformed into a spiritual god. And the spiritual god is a higher level of existence than the yin god and the yang god. This is a qualitative change. Ordinary yin-yang stage spiritual power simply cannot contend with a spiritual immortal master who has transformed into a spiritual god. Just like an ordinary Yuan Qi master cannot resist the crushing of a Yuan Qi martial god. This is the difference in life levels. But this does not apply to Su Chen. This dry-faced monk has indeed transformed into a spiritual god, and is a spiritual immortal master in the realm of gods. But so what? Su Chen had already discovered that the other party was just a yin god transformed into a spiritual god. Su Chen's yin and yang are combined into one, and he is not necessarily much weaker than the other party. Even when Su Chen's yin and yang are completely integrated and transformed into a spiritual god, he can fight and contend with the other party. Die. The dry-faced monk's expression became even more ferocious. First update. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 769, Yin and Yang Unite. The withered monk's face was ferocious. How could he bear the anger in his heart when a dignified immortal master in the divine realm was provoked by a yin-yang period? Go to hell. The spirit god of the withered monk rushed forward again with a spirit knife. Then, he collided fiercely with Su Chen's yin-yang fish. Boom. A loud noise exploded in the minds of Su Chen and the withered monk. Su Chen's yin-yang fish turned back. He felt his head buzzing, and a dizziness came. After all, the spirit god of the spiritual power immortal master is much stronger than the spiritual power of the yin-yang period. Su Chen hurriedly urged the yang god to restore his spiritual power. On the other side, the spirit god of the withered monk also returned to his sea of consciousness. At this moment, he was not very comfortable. He did not gain much advantage in this spiritual collision with Su Chen. The withered monk's face became more and more ugly. What is the origin of this kid in front of him? Why is he so powerful? What made him even more angry was that the collision just now made him detect a familiar breath in Su Chen's yang god. Could it be that the yang god that has been suppressed for a long time was taken away by this kid? The dry-faced monk suddenly thought of this possibility and was immediately furious. He had come here from the glass realm with great difficulty, and his goal was the monument and the yang god. However, the formation was broken, the monument escaped, and even the yang god was obtained by Su Chen. It can be said that his years of planning were in vain. The dry-faced monk's eyes were full of ferocious murderous intent. Boy, is it you? You swallowed the yang god. Hearing this, Su Chen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. He suddenly understood what the dry-faced monk was looking for. Su Chen smiled at the dry-faced monk and said lightly, "It's me, so what? Come and bite me, if you have the guts." The dry-faced monk almost exploded with anger. He gritted his teeth and said, You are looking for death." The dry-faced monk's talent is average, and it is not easy to break through the three realms of God. At the beginning, in order to break through as soon as possible, he could only transform from yin god to spirit god. When he wanted to advance to a higher realm again, he found that his foundation was still far behind. Later, he looked through the classics in the sect and found a way to help him unite yin and yang again. However, now, the yang god that he had coveted for a long time was actually taken by Su Chen. This is intolerable. This is a major event related to his own avenue. How can he give up just like that? Okay. Very good. In that case, then use your yang god to compensate. The withered face monk sneered. Su Chen refused to give in. Haha. Come and get it, if you have the guts. Kill. The withered face monk shouted and attacked Su Chen again. It was still the previous withered and prosperous fist. The vast fist intention, transformed into a huge millstone, came to suppress Su Chen again. Facing this move, Su Chen urged the 9 extremes and used the divine will fist to resist again. For a while, the wind and clouds were surging, and the battle between the two sides became more and more intense. The people around were shocked and retreated again and again. Many of the tiger capture guards failed to retreat in time and were directly stunned by the momentum of the two men. The two ordinary old men, Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan, were like candles in the wind, and even their life breath had weakened a lot. Thanks to Qin King Mu's timely action, the two old men were protected and evacuated. Boom. 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 As the battle continued, the stones turned into powder. The two sides fought back and forth. Although the withered monk was stronger than Su Chen in terms of hard power, Su Chen had many tricks and did not let him take advantage. When the two fought frantically, on the side, Zhang Tian, Qin King Mui and the tiger capture guards were surprised. It turns out that Consultant Su is so powerful. What is the origin of this ugly bastard? Consultant Su is so powerful that he can't handle him. I don't know. If Consultant Su can't defeat him, I'm afraid we will be miserable. The brothers of the tiger capture guards were a little worried. Qin King Mui wanted to help, but she had been suppressed by the formation for a long time and her strength was weak. In addition, watching the battle between Su Chen and the other man, she felt like she couldn't help. She even felt that, if she went to help, it might become a breakthrough point for the withered monk. Su Chen, this guy, is actually so powerful. Qin King Mui sighed inwardly. Then, she turned to look at Zhang Tian and asked with a worried look on her face, Master Zhang, do you think Su Chen can win this battle? A trace of hesitation flashed across Zhang Tian's face, and he said, this dry-faced monk is a strong man in the 3rd level of the divine realm. He has almost no major weaknesses in battle. Although my uncle can compete with him, he only relies on the secret method to increase his vitality, and he has fully exploded the spiritual power of the perfect yin-yang period and the flesh and god power of the Vajrasahat realm to the limit. Even if the dry-faced monk used the hidden needle, my uncle dodged it with the golden light of the ground. But these are all passive responses to the enemy. In the short term, although we can compete with this dry-faced monk, we can't do any substantial harm to him. Over time, I'm afraid. Zhang Tian didn't continue, but Qin Qingmei understood. She showed a worried look in her eyes and stared at Su Chen in the center of the battlefield. Now, he can only rely on him to find a way. In the center of the battlefield, the dry-faced monk also rolled his eyes, constantly looking for Su Chen's flaws. He also shot withering needles at Su Chen from time to time. However, Su Chen was too slippery. The golden light of the earth was one of the great magical powers of Xiangang. In such a battle, its effect was fully demonstrated, making Su Chen invincible. He could always help Su Chen avoid the withering needles of the withered monk at the critical moment. However, although Su Chen dodged the attack of the withered monk, his heart sank. This bastard is too powerful. If we delay any longer, we will only be more passive. We must take a risk once and combine the Yin God and Yang God into the Spirit God. Maybe we can defeat this bastard. Su Chen's eyes were fierce. Second update. Chapter 773 Yin Divine Water. Yin and Yang merge into one. Yin and Yang merge into one. This is a last resort. Normal warriors who want to merge Yin and Yang usually choose to retreat and try carefully. After all, this kind of breakthrough is not a trivial matter. If Yin and Yang can be balanced, it's fine. If Yin and Yang are unbalanced, it is likely to damage the foundation of Taoism. But now, Su Chen obviously doesn't have this opportunity. Can't wait any longer. Now Yin and Yang must merge. Su Chen shouted inwardly. The next second, Su Chen's Yin and Yang escaped again, and immediately began to contact and blend. His Yin and Yang were already in a perfect state, and they quickly reached a delicate balance after merging with each other. Su Chen's mental power also increased at an astonishing speed. The dry-faced monk was also a spiritual power immortal master, so he naturally discovered this scene at the first time. Asshole, you actually want to merge Yin and Yang? Dream on. The dry-faced monk showed a trace of envy and jealousy on his face. The next moment, a small jade bottle with flowing light suddenly appeared in the hand of the dry-faced monk. There seemed to be some liquid flowing in the small jade bottle, exuding a cold breath. A trace of pain flashed across the face of the dry-faced monk. However, it soon returned to normal. Boy, go to hell. The dry-faced monk sneered. Immediately, a trickle of water spurted out of the small jade bottle, like a fountain. The next second, the trickle of water was like a water arrow, rushing straight to the Yin God and Yang God who were merging. Su Chen's face was extremely solemn. He didn't know what the water flow was, but he had already felt the threat. At the moment when the trickle of water appeared, Su Chen felt that his Yang God was not functioning well, as if his Yang God was weakened. You know, after absorbing the Yang God power of the mysterious Yang God old man, Su Chen's Yang God has been perfect. Logically speaking, it is impossible for such a strange situation to occur, but now, what on earth is this? Su Chen was puzzled. At this moment, Uncle Master, be careful, that could be the 3 Yin Divine Water. Zhang Tian's anxious voice suddenly came, with a bit of uneasiness and worry. 3 Yin Divine Water? Su Chen's face also changed slightly. This is a rare thing that can restrain the Yang God, known as the nemesis of the Yang God. Although the Yin God and the Yang God are mysterious, they are not without restraint. Just like the Yin God, it is difficult to show its power during the day, and is afraid of the power of thunder. This is because the Yang energy is sufficient during the day, and thunder is even more. The Yang God, of course, also has similar defects. At night, the Yang God has some obstacles to travel, and it is not as easy and free as the Yin God. The night is dark, and the Yang God is bright. If the Yang God is used at night, it is like the stars in the night. No matter where it is, it will appear particularly bright. And the power of the night has some suppression on the Yang God. As the saying goes, one thing subdues another. The Yang God is strong during the day, but not as strong as the Yin God at night. As for the 3 Yin Divine Water, Su Chen has only seen a few words in ancient books. According to legend, it is extremely difficult to refine the 3 Yin Divine Water, and the refining method is extremely cruel. The 3 Yin Divine Water combines Yin Time, Yin Land, and Yin Soul in one, which can be said to be the ultimate of Yin. It is the nemesis of Yang God and the best tonic for Yin God. If it were normal, Su Chen would not be too nervous even when facing the 3 Yin Divine Water. After all, although this thing is weird, he can find a way to restrain it. But now, his yin god and yang god are merging, and they have reached a delicate balance. If he were to be drenched by the 3 yin divine water at this time, the rare balance would probably be broken in an instant. At that time, once the balance of yin and yang is broken, let alone continuing to transform the spirit through the integration of yin and yang, it would be a blessing that yang god is not taken away by this dry-faced monk. Hurry up, hurry up. Su Chen was secretly anxious. If this bottle of 3 yin divine water causes failure, it would be a big loss. However, the fusion of yin god and yang god also has a process. Otherwise, how could a normal spiritual power practitioner choose to retreat to fuse the two? As a result, Su Chen was not in seclusion, but was fighting with others. Under such circumstances, it was extremely dangerous, not to mention that the opponent was also a spiritual master. Boy, let's see how you merge. The withered face monk had a ferocious face. He frantically urged the 3 yin divine water to attack Su Chen's yin and yang gods. As long as the balance of yin and yang gods was broken, Su Chen would not be able to continue to break through. The withered face monk knew very well that the formation had been broken, and the immortal monument could not be obtained. If Su Chen's yang god was not taken down, he would be in trouble. Su Chen used all his strength to drive the yin and yang gods to a void. However, the withered face monk did not feel sorry at all. He directly poured out all the 3 yin divine water and attacked Su Chen's yin and yang gods in a large area. Su Chen tried his best to avoid it. However, after all, a few drops of the 3 yin divine water fell on Su Chen's yang god. Zzzz. At this moment, it was like a few drops of water falling on a red hot iron block. Suddenly, Su Chen felt a chill, as if a basin of cold water was poured on him in the winter. His whole body trembled, and a chill came over him. At this moment, Su Chen's yin Shen withdrew from the state of yin and yang unity, and then turned into a yin Shen figure, madly absorbing the power of the 3 yin divine water from Su Chen's yang Shen. In the blink of an eye, Su Chen felt that the yin Shen figure was stronger than before. However, his yang Shen became weaker and weaker, as if he had a serious illness. Su Chen was secretly anxious. How could he break through like this? If he couldn't balance yin and yang, it would be impossible for him to continue to transform his spirit. Ha ha ha. The dry-faced monk laughed wildly. The third update is here. Tomorrow morning, I have to accompany my wife to the hospital for a checkup. I'll post 3 chapters first. Good night, everyone. Thank you for your support. Chapter 771 Truth Under Tempering Yang. Boy, let me see how you can combine yin and yang. Ha ha ha. The face of the dry-faced monk was full of hideous and smug smiles. He did not have yang Shen, and he also longed for yang Shen the most. Naturally, he hated those practitioners who combined yin and yang the most. Now, seeing Su Chen being interrupted, the dry-faced monk felt very relieved. Uncle Master. Su Chen. Zhang Taiyan and Qin King Mei exclaimed in unison. They had already felt that under the influence of the 3 yin divine water, Su Chen's yin Shen became stronger and stronger, while his yang Shen was constantly weakening. Yin and yang were completely out of balance. In this way, the combination of yin and yang was just a luxury. Su Chen felt very sorry. It was almost there. The dry-faced monk sneered. Boy, bring your yang Shen here. As soon as the voice fell, the dry-faced monk urged the spirit and rushed straight to Su Chen's yang Shen. In his opinion, Su Chen's yang Shen was already too weak to escape his palm. Su Chen smiled coldly. Do you think you have a sure win? The dry-faced monk was startled. He didn't understand why Su Chen dared to speak so arrogantly now. The next second, Su Chen's yang Shen made hand seals and uttered strange syllables. It was the 9 heavens thunder curse. Boom. Boom. Suddenly, the thunder in Changyang Mountain, which was covered with dark clouds, became more and more intense. The withered face monk felt a little uneasy. Boom. Crack. A huge thunder explosion sounded. A terrifying thunder struck in the direction of the crowd. Su Chen and the withered face monk. The withered face monk's face changed. He could no longer care about Su Chen, and hurriedly urged his spirit to dodge. The thunder of heaven and earth, the most yang and the most rigid. The spirit of the withered face monk was transformed from a single yin spirit, and was very afraid of thunder. Boom. Crack. Or thunder of heaven struck hard between Su Chen and the withered face monk. The withered face monk retracted his spirit and dodged repeatedly. He looked at Su Chen with murderous intent. Boy, even if you can use spells to mobilize the thunder of Changyang Mountain, what's the use? It can't hurt me at all. When your Yang Shen power is insufficient, I will still take your Yang Shen. Su Chen smiled coldly, you don't have this chance. As he spoke, Su Chen suddenly took back the Yang Shen to the Niwen Palace. Then, he took out 4 pills and swallowed them in one breath. 4 Yang Yuan pills. Uncle Master, don't. Zhang Taiyan hurriedly stopped him. That's right. What Su Chen took were the 4 fine Yang Yuan pills that Cheng Shai and Feng gave him. The Yang Yuan pills of the Cheng family are different from those Su Chen got from the brothers Liu Beidao and Liu Beicheng. The Yang Yuan pills of the Cheng family contain too much innate Yang Qi, and even if you take one, you have to digest and absorb it slowly. But now, Su Chen swallowed 4 pills directly. This will only make his Yang Shen unable to absorb it. Su Chen did not explain. The 4 fine Yang Yuan pills melted in his mouth. Suddenly, they turned into a huge amount of pure Yang Yuan power, rushing to the Yang Shen in Su Chen's Niwen Palace. The next second, Su Chen's Yang Shen rushed out of the Niwen Palace again. The Yang Shen was bloated and looked like it was about to explode. Although Su Chen's Yang Shen had sufficient Yang Qi at this time, it was not in a state of complete absorption and digestion. After all, such a huge Yang Yuan power requires a long period of seclusion to absorb. You are looking for death. Do you think that you can defeat me by attracting more thunder with a few pills? The withered face monk was full of disdain. He thought that Su Chen did this just to replenish his Yang Shen and hope to attract thunder to deal with him. However, Su Chen smiled coldly. You are too self-indulgent. As the voice fell, Su Chen's Yang Shen once again launched the 9 heavens thunder-inducing curse. The withered face monk was about to dodge, but suddenly he stopped. Just because. This time the thunder was not aimed at him, but at Su Chen himself. Su Chen. Uncle Master. Advisor Su. King Me. Zhang Taiyan and the tiger catching guards were stunned. What happened? Was it an operational error? Why did he want to strike himself? The next second, Su Chen gave them the answer. Go. With a low shout, Su Chen's bloated Yang Shen soared into the sky to meet the thunder. Su Chen's eyes showed a trace of determination. That's right. After Yang Shen was contaminated with the 3 yin divine water, the yin and yang were out of balance and could not break through. But so what? Now, the opportunity for a breakthrough has come, and there is still the dry-faced monk watching covetously. If he can't break through, it will be difficult for him to deal with this dry-faced monk. Only a risk can be taken. Moreover, Su Chen is not completely unsure. The power of thunder is the most yang and the most rigid. This kind of masculine power may not seriously injure Yang Shen. Moreover, Su Chen's 4 fine Yang Yuan Dan can be used as a precaution. As long as his idea succeeds, Yin Shen and Yang Shen will return to balance again. The dry-faced monk wanted to deal with Su Chen. However, when he saw Su Chen's Yang Shen soaring into the sky, a sneer suddenly appeared in his eyes. The power of thunder can destroy everything, let alone a mere Yang god. Even a celestial being's body might not be able to withstand it. Moreover, even if the withered monk wanted to stop him, he could do nothing. After all, his spirit god was transformed from a single yin god. Although the power after transformation into a spirit god is stronger than that of a yin god, it still cannot change the characteristics of the yin attribute. HMPH. Let me see how you die. The withered monk snorted coldly. Boom. Crack. A terrifying thunderbolt suddenly fell on the yang god. Suddenly, the bloated body was instantly surrounded by lightning, making crackling sounds. The yang god was hit hard and his breath withered. However, Su Chen was not panicked at all. On the contrary, he looked confident and shouted softly, "True thunder quenching yang." Suddenly, the thunder power on the yang god began to wander wildly. First update. Chapter 772 More perfect. True thunder tempers yang. The power of thunder began to move quickly on the yang god. In an instant, the aura of the 3 yin divine water was instantly eliminated by thunder. Moreover, the bloating on the yang god was also quickly reduced. A large amount of Yang Yuan power was released instantly. The yang god absorbed it crazily and became energetic again. Su Chen was delighted. His idea was indeed correct. The power of thunder not only did not hurt Yang God, but also cleared the remaining power of the 3 Yin divine water, and also helped him quickly decompose and absorb the medicinal power of the fine Yang Yuan pill. Even Yang God could absorb a trace of innate Yang energy from the thunder of heaven and earth. Come again. Su Chen urged the Yang God to launch the 9 heavens thunder curse again. Thunder struck again, and the Yang God took the initiative to meet them again. In the flash of thunder and lightning, Su Chen's Yang God was perfect again, and his momentum was even higher than before. His Uncle Master is indeed far more extraordinary than an ordinary person. Looking at the Yang God flying in the thunder, Zhang Tai'an couldn't help but take a breath. His face was full of horror. There is also a similar secret method in the Zhou Wanqiu mansion of Qianqi Mountain. But in the past few hundred years, no one dared to practice it. This thunder is too terrifying. But Su Chen not only dared to do it, but also succeeded. On the side, the dry-faced monk finally figured out what was going on. Boy, you. He was shocked and angry, and his half-dry and half-living face was almost twisted into a ball, which made people's scalps numb. He never thought that Su Chen would have such a coquettish operation, using the power of thunder to dissolve the negative effects of the 3 Yin divine water. Even, this kid used the power of thunder to help temper the Yang God. If he waited for him to finish his work, it would be impossible for him to deprive the other party of his Yang God. I will kill you. The dry-faced monk was instantly anxious. For any practitioner, the path of cultivation is blocked, which is a great hatred that will never end. Moreover, because Su Chen broke the formation, causing his master's immortal monument to escape, the withered face monk's little thoughts might also be known to his master. Now, if he can't take down Su Chen's Yang Shen, he will gain nothing. Boom. 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 The withered face monk attacked again and again. The sound of sonic booms was endless. Even the space seemed to be trembling slightly. At this time, Su Chen did not fight the withered face monk head on. The golden light flashed under his feet, and he used the cloud wandering body step and the golden light of the ground to dodge the attacks of the withered face monk. This is not that Su Chen is afraid of this withered face monk, but his Yang Shen is still being tempered in thunder. He must do 2 things at the same time and pay attention to it. The Yang Shen is indeed extremely yang and strong, but it is still too fragile compared to thunder. If he is not careful in operation, he may be seriously injured by thunder. The attacks of the withered face monk are getting more and more crazy. Su Chen dodged at a very fast speed. The scene between the two of them looked like a game of eagle catching chickens. Arsehole. The withered face monk was furious. Su Chen's golden light was too powerful, just like a loach. His attack could not seriously injure Su Chen at all. Withered and prosperous needles. The withered face monk looked ferocious and said angrily, "Boy, you can suppress others, but I want to see how you can block it yourself." As soon as the words fell, the withered face monk threw out a handful of needles to block all of Su Chen's positions. Those fine needles like cow hair were neither gold nor wood, and no one knew what kind of material they were made of, but they exuded a cold and chilly aura, as if they could kill people at any time. Seeing those fine needles as thin as cow hair, Su Chen's mind was shocked. Zhang Tai'an's miserable condition was right in front of him, so he was naturally very cautious. Invincible golden body. Su Chen shouted. Suddenly, a faint golden light appeared all over his body. At the same time, the physical defense of the heavenly realm was instantly exerted to the limit. After making good defense, Su Chen stopped dodging and fought back. Shenai Fist, Jiu Jijin. Su Chen shouted again. Control Shenai Fist with Jiu Jijin. Suddenly, a huge phantom of Yaodao Mountain appeared again. This time, Su Chen almost burst out with all his strength. The phantom of Yaodao Mountain was 3 times larger than usual. The fist burst out. Under the amplification of Jiu Jijin, the power of this punch was so terrifying that even King Mei, who could only watch, felt short of breath. This was Su Chen's strongest move. It was also the move that consumed the most terrifying energy. Wherever this punch passed, it was invincible. Those fine needles like cow hair did not even reach Su Chen, and were blocked by the huge Yaodao Mountain. At this time, the phantom of Yaodao Mountain was like a huge barrier that could block everything. Any attack of the withered monk could not penetrate this mountain. Ding 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 ding. After a burst of fine metal sounds, the withered needle did not hurt Su Chen at all. On the contrary, the huge force shook the withered monk away. Puff! The dry-faced monk spurted out a mouthful of blood. His face was ugly, and he stared at Su Chen. Su Chen stabilized his body. His face was calm, as if he had done something insignificant. In fact, Su Chen was not as relaxed as he thought. The move just now almost exhausted all his strength, and he was almost exhausted. But Su Chen's face was still calm. He was calm, and looked at the dry-faced monk, and said lightly, "What other moves do you have? Use them. This dry-faced monk is really powerful." Such a fierce punch just now did not seriously injure him. The dry-faced monk wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His expression was surprised and doubtful. He stared at Su Chen and shouted angrily, "Such a powerful move. I don't believe that you, a mere innate realm, can use it again. Spirit God, cut it for me." Suddenly, the spirit of the dry-faced monk condensed a sharp long sword again, and slashed towards Su Chen. Su Chen's face was gloomy. The move just now had consumed most of his energy. Now, it was difficult for him to resist the spiritual slash of the dry-faced monk. And the dry-faced monk also saw this. "Boy, go and die," he shouted angrily, and the spiritual god slashed fiercely with a knife. At this moment, Su Chen suddenly smiled. "Sorry, you can't do it." The dry-faced monk was stunned. As soon as the voice fell, a white light fell from the sky. It was the Yang god that Su Chen tempered in the thunder. At this moment, it was finally perfected again. Yin god, Yang god, merge. Su Chen shouted in his heart. Suddenly, the Yin god that absorbed the three Yin god water and the Yang god that absorbed the power of thunder met again. In an instant, Su Chen's spiritual power skyrocketed wildly. Second update. Chapter 773 Yin Yang Spirit God. The Yin god who absorbed the three Yin divine water and the Yang god who absorbed the power of thunder met again. It can be said that both of them are more perfect than before. The fusion at this moment is even more powerful than the previous fusion. Feeling the surge of mental power in his body, Su Chen's heart flashed with joy. It's too timely. If it's a little worse, the consequences are unimaginable. He had almost exhausted everything, and could only pretend to be calm and delay time with the other party. However, the withered monk was also a 1,000-year-old fox, and refused to give up easily. Even though he was frightened by the divine fist and the 9 extremes, he did not stop. If his spiritual god slash fell, Su Chen would probably be seriously injured. The spiritual god slash of the spiritual immortal master was not something that the yin and yang period could resist. Fortunately, everything was still in time. The timely return of the Yang god allowed him to unite yin and yang and feed back to himself. The union of yin god and yang god. Su Chen's mental power soared wildly, and he reached the threshold of the divine realm in the blink of an eye. But this is not the end. Su Chen's yin god and yang god are combined into one, and they are transformed into spirit god together. Most ordinary yin yang stage soul practitioners can only transform into spirit god with a single yin god or a single yang god. But Su Chen's yin yang spirit god is different. This is another qualitative breakthrough, a deeper transition. Boom. All the spirit gods of the dry-faced monk are completely integrated into this knife, and they are determined to completely destroy Su Chen. At this moment, this knife is the spirit god of the dry-faced monk. This terrifying spirit god slash finally fell. This slash seemed to be able to create the world, and fell on the spirit god that Su Chen had just completed the transformation of yin-yang combination. The dry-faced monk laughed triumphantly. Haha. Go to hell. The next moment, the ferocious expression of the dry-faced monk suddenly stiffened. His eyes were as big as copper bells. Just because his terrifying spirit god slash was lightly taken by the spirit god that Su Chen had just formed. The young spirit god caught the knife light with 2 fingers. On the side, the seriously injured Zhang Taiyan was also stunned. He seemed to have forgotten to breathe, and his face was flushed. Qin King Mui rubbed his eyes and patted his proud chest. I don't know if he was celebrating or calming his fluctuating heart. This scene was too exaggerated. Even the powerful people in the god realm like them doubted whether this scene was illusory. They all knew how terrifying the power of a great spiritual master controlling the spirit god to slash with all his strength. The collision of spiritual power was extremely dangerous. Not to mention the strong people in the same realm. Even if they were one realm higher, they might not be able to do it so easily. Such a collision has completely exceeded their understanding. Even if he is stronger, can he be so strong to such a terrifying degree? The expression of the dry-faced monk was astonished. Soon, this astonishment turned into fear, and even panic. He came from the Liuli realm, so he naturally knew that the spirit god transformed by the combination of yin and yang was very strong. But can it really be so powerful to such a terrifying degree? Su Chen's spirit god has completely exceeded his understanding. After all, he is also a spiritual master. Even if the spirit god was only transformed from a single yin god, it would be impossible for someone to control it so easily. But Su Chen's yin and yang spirit god is so overbearing and unreasonable. Impossible, impossible. The withered monk muttered to himself with a look of shock on his face. Su Chen looked at him coldly without explaining. The next second, break. Su Chen's spirit god whispered, and his fingers exerted a little force. Suddenly, the long sword transformed by the spirit god of the withered monk began to break inch by inch. No, don't. The withered monk was completely panicked. All his spirit gods have been completely integrated into this sword. If this sword of the spirit god is broken, he will suffer a heavy blow. Unfortunately, Su Chen will not be polite to him. Because now Su Chen is also going all out. Just now, this seemingly understated pinch was actually issued by Su Chen with the spirit god running the 9 extreme strength. Although it did not reach 9 times, it was 3 times as powerful. Su Chen's spirit was stronger than that of the withered monk, and with the 3-fold increase, it was reasonable for the withered monk to be controlled. Everyone present only saw Su Chen easily take down the blade. But they didn't know that at that moment, Su Chen was also a bit desperate and very risky. If he could successfully take down the spirit of the withered monk, everything would be over. If he couldn't take it down, the withered monk's counterattack would definitely be more crazy, and even Su Chen would find it difficult to resist. After all, although Su Chen's spirit had been successfully transformed, the vitality and physical strength consumed in his body could not be replenished in a short period of time. Su Chen could only use this method, that seemed to have a more amazing intimidation effect, to intimidate the withered monk, so that he didn't even dare to think of resisting. Now, it really worked. Bang! The spirit of the long sword broke into pieces. Ah! The withered monk held his head, and cried out in pain. This time, his spirit was severely damaged. Escape. The withered monk didn't dare to have any other thoughts. In front of Su Chen's yin-yang spirit, he seemed really weak and helpless. Although, he didn't understand why there was such a big gap between him and Su Chen. But the fact was right in front of him. The two sides seemed to be not at the same level at all. The withered face monk didn't care about anything else, and directly urged his spirit fragments frantically. The next moment, the spiritual power fragments that broke out of the spirit god's long sword began to flee frantically in all directions. Escape. We must hurry up. At this time, the withered face monk had only one thought. Run as far as you can. In this way, you can still retain a little strength. Otherwise, you will die without a burial place. When you reach his level of cultivation, as long as your soul is not completely annihilated, there is always a chance to start over. Although, this chance is really slim. People are like this, they will not give up, even if there is a little hope. Escape. Where can you escape to? Su Chen chuckled. The spirit god showed the golden light of the earth, chasing the spirit fragments that were fleeing everywhere. After Su Chen broke through to the spiritual immortal master, he discovered the magical use of the spirit god. The spirit god can actually exert abilities just like the physical body, and is even faster than the physical body. It makes sense. After all, the physical body is bound by the rules of this world. The spirit god, on the other hand, does not have so many restrictions, so it is naturally faster to exert abilities. However, even if Su Chen's spirit god used all his strength to exert the golden light of the earth, he still could not catch up with all the spiritual fragments. After all, they were too broken. Su Chen felt a little amused. Because he wanted to shock the other party, he ended up with too many spiritual fragments, and couldn't catch up. The third update is here. Sorry, I went to the hospital 3 times today. Please forgive me. 3 updates first. Good night, everyone. Chapter 774 Detonating the Formation. Disperse. The withered-faced monk was indeed an old fox. Not all of his spiritual fragments escaped back to his sea of consciousness. On the contrary, he actually drove some of his spiritual fragments directly to fly away to the bottom of Changjiang Mountain. Although he would certainly lose some of them, it was much better to be killed by Su Chen. "Where are you running?" Su Chen shouted in a low voice, driving the yin-yang spirit god to run around and smash the withered-faced monk's spiritual fragments one by one. The withered-faced monk's face was extremely ugly. Every time he lost a spiritual fragment, he felt a tearing pain in his Niwen palace. "Asshole, you die," the withered-faced monk roared. He threw out a series of formation flags quickly and quickly pinched the magic formula in his hands. Suddenly, rays of light flowed between his fingers. An inexplicable force was secretly surging. Su Chen stopped the yin-yang spirit god and looked up. "Uncle Master, the formation has started again." Zhang Tian reminded him hurriedly. Su Chen's face was solemn. He had also noticed that the previously broken 8th level formation had changed its combination again. He instantly understood that this withered-faced monk wanted to use the power of this broken formation again. "Boy, die. Explode." The withered-faced monk shouted angrily and then completely detonated the formation. Boom. The terrifying power instantly broke out. Although this mysterious formation had been cracked by Su Chen, but it was still an 8th level formation. After the withered-faced monk's remobilization, although the power of the 8th level formation could not be restored, its horror should not be underestimated. Boom. Su Chen's face changed slightly. If it was just him here, he would not be afraid at all. After all, this formation no longer had the power it had before. But now, there are still many brothers of the tiger catching guards here. In addition to these tiger catching guards, there are even Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan who are in a coma. Su Chen dared not be vague. His mind turned quickly, and he took out the formation plate given by the Cheng family. Su Chen pinched the magic formula with his hands, drew the power of heaven and earth, and immediately arranged a small formation. Now, the power of the formation plate has been improved. Even if it is used to arrange a 6th level formation, it is not a problem. The withered monk will not give Su Chen time to arrange it calmly. In the blink of an eye, Su Chen arranged a 5th level defense formation. At the moment, when the formation was formed, boom. The mysterious formation exploded, and the formation base was completely damaged. The terrifying power swept towards Su Chen and others frantically. Su Chen urged the formation plate to form a defense shield to protect everyone. The huge energy frantically attacked the defense set up by Su Chen. However, it was finally resisted by Su Chen. The withered monk had an ugly expression. He was pale and hated secretly. Now, he was injured in the origin and could no longer attack Su Chen. He could only leave quickly while Su Chen helped everyone resist the power of the formation. "Boy, wait for me, the ancestor will come back." The roar of the withered monk floated in the air, but his figure had disappeared. Boom boom. After a series of huge explosions, the power of the remnant formation self-destruction finally dissipated. Su Chen slowly withdrew the defense formation and put away the formation plate. He looked coldly in the direction of Changjiang Mountain and said in a cold voice, "Next time we meet, you may not be lucky enough to escape." He originally wanted to kill this dry-faced monk, but the other party's means were indeed extraordinary. Even though he had broken through to the spiritual master, he still let him escape, which was a pity. After all, such a strong man, once you become an enemy, you can only fight to the death in the future. "Uncle, that dry-faced monk." Zhang Tian's face was a little solemn. "It doesn't matter. This time his spirit was severely damaged. When we meet next time, he will be even more difficult to be my opponent." Su Chen smiled and said, seeming not to care, "That's good." Zhang Tian nodded slightly. He then asked, "Uncle Master, where are we going now?" "Back to Cheng family villa." Su Chen shook his head. "No hurry. I'll treat your injuries first." "Uncle Master, you actually have a way to treat me?" Zhang Tian was surprised. Maybe not before, but now. Su Chen's face showed a confident smile. Before, Zhang Tian was injured by the withered and flourishing needles of the withered face monk, causing his breath to drop wildly. At that time, Su Chen really had no way. He could only use the medical saint's golden needle to perform the method of sealing the sky and demanding the earth. to temporarily suppress the injury. But now, it is different. As Su Chen's mental power has been upgraded to the spiritual immortal master, he has discovered the secret of the fine needles. Su Chen waved his palm, and 108 medical saints' golden needles were quickly collected by him. Zhang Tian's face showed pain. Without the suppression of the medical saints' golden needles, the torture of the withered and flourishing needles came again. Cut the pulse. Su Chen uttered 2 words gently. Then, he pointed a finger at Zhang Tian's chest. The withered and flourishing needles of the withered monk were indeed very terrifying. While devouring the vitality of the injured, they transformed the vitality into death energy. Zhang Tian was already quite old. If all his vitality was devoured and transformed into death energy, the consequences could be imagined. Not to mention Zhang Tian, even a young man could die without anyone noticing under these strange fine needles. Master Zhang, please bear with it for a while. Su Chen reminded. He knew very well what it meant for these fine needles to leave the body. Uncle Master, don't worry, I can bear it. Zhang Tian nodded slightly, and he couldn't help but look forward to it secretly in his heart. Su Chen shouted in a low voice, Spirit God, come out. The first update. Chapter 775, Secret Action. Spiritual God, come out. Suddenly, the porcelain doll-like spiritual god appeared in front of everyone again. Control. The little man's voice was childish. The tender little hand pinched the seal and began to guide the fine ox hair needles with mental power. These fine ox hair needles must be driven by the spiritual power of the spiritual god. Because of this, Su Chen had the confidence to treat Zhang Tian after breaking through the spiritual master. Although Zhang Tian himself is also a spiritual master, in theory, he can also heal himself. Unfortunately, his spiritual god was sealed by the withered and flourishing needle. As the saying goes, a doctor does not heal himself. This is the truth. The withered and flourishing needle of the withered face monk is extremely vicious. It can not only seal the spiritual god, but also continuously consume the power of the spiritual god. While devouring vitality, it transforms death. As long as the enemy's spiritual god is not dead, the operation of the withered and flourishing needle will never stop. Su Chen drove the spiritual god and released mental power to find the 3 withered and flourishing needles. Soon, 3 fine ox hair needles slowly emerged from Zhang Tian's spiritual god. In an instant, Zhang Tian's spirit was no longer weak. Uncle Master, this is too vicious. Zhang Tian was still frightened. If it weren't for Su Chen, his spirit would have been annihilated. It's really vicious. Su Chen nodded. Even though he had encountered countless enemies, he had rarely seen such strange and cruel methods. Swish, swish, swish. 3 fine needles slowly separated from the spirit, and then completely pulled out from Zhang Tian's body. Uncle Master, thank you. Zhang Tian stood up, and was about to salute Su Chen, but he stumbled, and almost lost his balance. Su Chen raised his hand, to stop him and said, don't move first. This poison needle not only damages your spirit, but also devours your body's vitality. Wait for me to make a medicine for me. As he spoke, Su Chen took out a few medicines he carried with him, and went to the side to rub pills. The so-called rubbing of medicine naturally hides the vitality of longevity. Soon, Su Chen came back with a few inconspicuous pills in his hand. Looking at the pills in Su Chen's hand, Zhang Tian frowned slightly. He was also proficient in medicine, and these pills seemed to be nothing special. However, out of trust in Su Chen, he did not question it at all, but swallowed the pills handed by Su Chen directly. However, as soon as the pills entered his stomach, a terrifying vitality suddenly burst out, quickly repairing Zhang Tian's body. Zhang Tian was dumbfounded. As the Xianqi of Zhou Wanqiu mansion in Xianqi Mountain, what kind of elixir has he not seen? However, he has never seen a pill containing such a huge vitality. Zhang Tian's heart was full of shock. What's the matter with these pills that Uncle Master made? I can clearly tell what medicinal materials are in these pills, but they don't seem to have this kind of medicinal effect. Is it a ratio problem? No matter what the ratio is, it shouldn't be like this. Zhang Tian was very puzzled. In the end, he could only attribute it to the fact that his great grandmaster was too powerful. However, Su Chen didn't care how shocked Zhang Tian was. He first walked to the side and woke up his two old disciples, Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan. "Master, run." Bian Sanson exclaimed. He had just woken up from a coma, and his memory was still stuck in the battle. "Master, I'll take you to run." Lu Daokan was also confused. Ahem. Su Chen coughed twice. He said unhappily, "Okay. It's alright now. You can help look after the other tiger guards." Ah. The two came back to their senses, looking a little embarrassed. "Okay, master." Then, the two quickly separated and walked towards the tiger guards. Soon, the fainted tiger guards were also rescued by Bian Sanson and Lu Daokan. And Su Chen continued to search around the mountainside, but returned with regret. He didn't find the mysterious stone gate. What a pity. Su Chen sighed in his heart. That stone gate was indeed very strong. And judging from what the withered monk said, that formation was his master's formation, and that stone gate should also be a treasure of their sect. It's a pity that the monument that the stone gate turned into escaped, otherwise Su Chen would have an extra trump card in his hand. Just like the Cheyenne Chi whisk in Zhang Tian's hand. After seeing it once, Su Chen was very envious. "Su Chen, you can go down the mountain." At this time, King Mui came and reminded. She turned her head and looked at Chang'an Mountain, which was no longer covered by the formation, and she was quite sad. King Mui never thought that she would be trapped here for several days. She didn't expect that she could come out alive. King Mui looked at Su Chen deeply. "Now, I owe this guy more." King Mui sighed in her heart. At this time, Su Chen didn't know what King Mui was thinking. He looked up. He saw that the dark clouds and thunder had retreated above Chang'an Mountain. He didn't know whether it was because the mysterious Yang god only had the true spirit left, or because the mysterious stone tablet escaped. Su Chen retracted his gaze and nodded slightly at King Mui. "Okay." He walked to the gathering point. All the members of the Tiger Guard were awake and in good spirits. They were even talking and laughing. Su Chen could understand everyone's feelings. After all, for them, this time was a narrow escape. "Let's go down the mountain," Su Chen said. Everyone responded with a smile. Soon, the group arrived at the foot of Chang'an Mountain again. At this time, ding-ling-ling, a mobile phone rang. Su Chen looked down and saw that it was Zhang Langhu's call. He was anxious and answered the call quickly. After all, Zhang Langhu was responsible for protecting Zhou Wanqiu. Su Chen asked repeatedly, "Master Zhang, what happened? Is Mr. Zhou okay?" Zhang Langhu said, "Mr. Su, don't worry, Mr. Zhou and I are fine. However, Mr. Zhou has not been idle these days. He has set up a branch of Zhou's catering group in the provincial capital. But the problem lies here." Su Chen frowned slightly and asked, "What's wrong?" Zhang Langhu explained, "Although Mr. Zhou has put in a lot of effort to set up a new company in the provincial capital, but the new company is not going well, and there are all kinds of troubles. It seems that someone is constantly making moves in secret." There was some worry in Zhang Langhu's voice. Second update. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.